Hey, good evening, everybody. Welcome to yet another Friday CAF update. I promise we are not going to make these things a regular deal on the channel. It's starting to wear me out, but it is it's a decent Friday. As I saw Mikhail said, taxing times indeed. Fortunately, I got all my taxes done long before today, fortunately. And but a very busy day here. I literally was working right up to the last second, trying to cram in as many things as I could into the show. And I still feel like I didn't get enough done to get everything prepared for this evening. But I'm glad that everybody's here with me this evening. I see all the regulars in the chat, of course, Marcus and David and Dino. Hey, Dino, we got a compliment on at least you got a good compliment on the show we did on Tuesday. That was good. You were the rock in the sea of disorganization during our heritage update. But kudos to Dino on Tuesday for if anybody didn't get a chance to see that yet. The Heritage Update CAF the recap that we did on that signature auction I thought went really well for the most part, but having Dino in there was a breath of fresh air. I'm sure everybody would agree. Dino brought in a whole bunch of good factoids, and he kind of gave us a little bit different direction and helped me kind of change the way I was handling doing the heritage recaps, which I think helped us get through a lot more auctions and lots and reviews than we'd ever done before. So thank you, Dino, for that. You're definitely going to be welcome on the next one that we do. Man, I can't believe how many chats have been going through here so far to get things started. Yeah, I do feel like I'm about the hardest working guy in that comic art right now, but it's all right. I deserve it. But yeah, lots of things going on. I had it was just a very busy day. We've been doing a lot of things around the house, trying to get it ready for the sale and whatnot. But I had a call with an app developer. I wanted to kind of at least get those thoughts out there to somebody who could give me some advice. So I spoke to somebody this afternoon. As you know, we talked about trying to get a base app out there at some point, probably closer to the end of the year, given how long it'll probably take to develop. But just with some simple stuff in it, the ability to take pictures with your phone and upload into CAF, but also give you editing tools along with it. Since so many people are using their phones these days to manage their CAF galleries, we want to. Is my mic off? No, you know what? It was probably too far away from me. Sorry. Like Ron says, take a break, Bill. All right. I'm glad everybody, thank you for pointing that out. The mic, whenever it's about a foot away from me, is not as it's not as good. But I will take a break soon. Thank you. Thank you for pointing that out, Chris. Yeah, it's like I said, I literally just sat down. I've been running all around all day long. But back to the app. Yes, way better. So let's see. So back on the app. What I thought about was just putting together a simple app just so people can upload their art through it, edit it, but then also use it as a tool to show off their own CAF gallery. So like a version 1 would just be a simple thing that would allow you to manage your CAF, but also use it for when you're out and about with other collectors or whatnot, and you want to be able to show off your collection. So there'd be a simple tools in there just to kind of show things off. So I kind of pitched that to the gentleman I spoke to today, a CAF member, by the way. And so we'll see. It might, let's see if I can afford it, and also just the timing of everything. But yeah, we'll work that out, I think. But I want to explore what possibilities we can do with an app, because I know so many of you would really like to have that, and the youth of today would probably prefer to be interacting with CAF through an app than through the website. So we will we'll work that out. Virtual art gallery, exactly, Dwayne. That's precisely what I wanted it to be. It was just some simple way, because again, nobody likes to carry their portfolios with them, and a lot of times you're buying art from an artist at a show or something. It might be cool to be able to show them some of your art that you've collected from them in the past, whatever. But so having it on your phone would be much easier and a simpler way to get it. And guess what? It would get people to post more of their artwork on CAF as well. So I think it would all work out. An app ETA, Mel. I mean, it really end of the year would probably be the earliest, but we'll see. I mean, I just basically told him that we couldn't really get started on it until after we got settled in Florida. So I don't believe we'll begin working on it until, say, August as a starting point. So we'll see. You never know. But yeah, so like I say, I literally didn't make the best schedule for tonight show. As you can see, I'm already kind of flustered. But I got a lot of packages, so I figured I'd start the day off with a mailbag. I think that would help me relax a little bit and get into the show. it is actually, well, it's my birthday on Monday. So, and some people knew that. And my sister-in-law and brother-in-law came by yesterday, and they actually gave me, not that I golf too often, but they gave me a set of golf balls with the Thor hammer on it. So how do you like that? So I will definitely, I'm going to have to go hit a few golf balls, I guess, and find out if these things, how well these things work. But literally, who knew? You know, Marvel's got their stuff on everything these days, right? But golf balls was not one that I knew that they had done before. So I've got that as something to look forward to. And I guess going to Florida just means I'm going to end up having to play golf. Now, no, there's actually 4 in there, Marcus, not just 2. Not just 2. D. Gleason says I need a postman's hat like Mr. Rogers. I really should, or at least play some kind of music to start off the mailbag. Now, I got this from Jeff Wedding today, and I wasn't sure what it was, so I opened it, and then as so I'm going to do that one next because I didn't really get the chance to. I didn't see what was in it other than I started reading the letter, and I realized I should wait until the show to open it up because it says, "Dear Bill, happy birthday," and many more. And let's see, hopefully we'll connect and and yes, I hope that, I don't think Jeff is going to be at Heroes, but I'm hoping that he and I get to meet up at some point. And so let's see, I'm going to take a look. He's got a second envelope inside that envelope, and it is actually the return address is from Hembeck. So oh, these are awesome. Let's see, what else did you write in there? Oh, with a Kirby Air hero villain matchup. Perfect. There you go. Look at that. Oh, a little bit of reflection on there. I have been so close to buying Hembeck's Thor, so now I guess I don't have to. But this was pretty cool. And so you get Thor and the Growing Man, so that's pretty awesome. And as always, you get the nice little Hembeck sketches on the back of himself. So that's nice. Thank you so much, Jeff. And I owe Jeff a phone call. I wasn't able to do it today, but hopefully I'll be able to give him a call this weekend. So yes, exactly. No, I love Hembeck stuff, and now I've got about 6 or 7 of these cards now. So that is fantastic. Thor cover 89 homage. That is correct, Dino. So yes, thank you, Jeff. I appreciate it. My birthday is actually on Monday, but we're celebrating it tonight because Monday. What am I doing on Monday? I've got that show with Jordan and Nick, which we'll talk about shortly. Let's see. I've got 3 other packages that came in this past week. This one is from Marcus Way. So let's take a look here. This actually arrived, gosh, I think on Friday. So I've been sitting on this thing for a long time. What have we got? See, and I'm so unprepared, I don't even see my knife here. Where is a knife? Oh, come on. Got to be one around here. Oh, boy. Oh, there's one. All right. But let's see. Oh, sweet. This is a oh, that's nice. Well, I can't see. Let me get this off of here. It's double bagged. So this is a DC 0-hour crime and crisis in time sketch cover, and it's got a sketch of Wolverine on it saying DC sucks, and it's got Brandon Peterson's signature from 1998. Yeah, that's pretty awesome. 24 years old. Love that. Thank you very much, Marcus. And what else we got here? Oh, yeah. I got some Make Mine Moy stickers, which, I thought they were beer coasters. Moy could have used some of these on Tuesday night when he was on the Heritage Auction recap, right? But these are awesome. Thank you. I don't think I've ever seen a Make Mine Moy sticker from Albert before. I got the what do I got? I got his I belong to the Mary Moy Marching Society, but I've never seen a sticker before. But also included in the package is a art of Art Adams, X-Men. Wow. And signed by Art too. Just in February.
Thank you so much, Marcus. I actually wanted this book, so this is pretty awesome. Very cool. Thank you very, very much. I still have to get through my Excalibur trade paperback from Tatiana, though. That was from a couple weekends or weeks ago, so I'm working at it. Let's see. We've got two more here. This is from Brian Norton. Brian, of course, was on the show just a couple weeks ago. Let's see here. Again, I'm using a real knife, so since I don't know what I did with the other blade that I have. There we go, nicely packed. Sorry, wish I was a little more talkative right now, but there we go. All right. And it is taped to the inside of the Masonite. I always love getting Masonite. I'm sure everybody else saves theirs when they get it as well, so they can use it for future shipping. All right, let's see. I got a card. Always got to read the card first. That's funny. Let's see. So they don't make them like you anymore. Look at that. It's literally three-dimensional. And that's true. They don't make them like me anymore. Let's take a look at what it says inside. I was looking through Anthony Snyder's updates, and this signed Carlos Pacheco X-Men prelim cover grabbed my attention. I figured you could add it to your growing X-Men gallery and maybe get the finished cover one day. Happy birthday, Bill. From Brian Norton, who is, of course, Mr. Redjack12 in the chat. And this piece of tape off of there. And take a look at that. That's got a lot of X characters on it. Very, very nice. I was just thinking about Pacheco today because I've been seeing a lot of different like prelims and stuff of his on the market. I don't know. Is there a reason for that? Does anybody know why that Carlos's work has been popping around of late? But no, this is great, Brian. Thank you so much. I have no artwork by Pacheco, so I'm really happy to have this. This is great. Yep. I know it's pretty nice. Nope. All right. Thank you. A publishable prelim, says Robert. Man, I need an extra desk around here. All right. And finally, I got this package from Rick Welch yesterday, I believe. And so let's see. Let's see what the easiest way is to get into this one. I think my mom's going to be mad. She knows I should have waited till Monday to open these. But I get to see her tomorrow. Or no, actually, I'm going to see my mom on Sunday for Easter. All right, I'm using the technique with the folded painter's tape. Thank you so much for that, Rick. Let's see here. Oh, 3 layers. Rick's had a good year. He won a best of this year. He also won one of the, I think we did a t-shirt giveaway. He got one of those. So, and let's see here. Okay, I'm getting closer. Look at that. It says art inside. Well, this is really nice. Thank you, Rick. Rick knows that I was jealous of a piece of art that, well, I wasn't jealous. I really liked a piece of art that that he got added to his CAF. And when I made I think he thanked me maybe for talking about it, and or maybe I inquired about it, but I had said I wanted to get a piece from the same book, and I went and I talked to Butch Geiss's rep, Dave Carlin, and unfortunately, I was like, "Is there any other pieces?" I mean, there's lots of good stuff up there, but I was just curious if there were any other pieces out there from that book and from heavy metal, and Dave went back to Butch and of course he didn't have any extra stuff. So I kind of held off at the time, but I guess, at the end of the day, I got one of the pieces from Rick. Thank you so much, Rick. Here, it's still in the bag. I'm not going to take it out of the bag because I don't want to mess it up while we're chatting here, but very nice artwork there by Butch. I mean, I've always loved his style, and I mean, he's just a great creator, and this is a really nice piece. So it's Tarna, of course, there. I remember the piece that Rick had was a full page splash, just lots of it was an outdoor scene, and it was totally beautiful. I'm sure many people remember. We did it on a CAF update a couple months back. But thank you very much, Rich. Thank you. You guys are all great. You know that. All right. Well, now I'm warmed up. I've got, gosh, look at all this stuff. It's like Christmas here. This is great. I hope Maureen and my daughter Gwen were watching, because they were excited to see what was in all these packages. So this is a thrill for me to be able to open up these in front of everybody. And Chris, you're right. Geiss is so good. I mean, I love his work, and it's funny because I go over to Berkey's all the time, and he literally has nothing by Butch Geiss there. So yeah, that was pretty much the only way to get one. Good to be the Bill King. Bill King. All right. Well, so let's get on with the show, shall we? So I don't have a ton to talk about, but I think everything I have to talk about is some semi-interesting to everybody. I reached out to George Hodge today because I was hoping to get an update on the Heroes event. And I know some people have been emailing me asking about that Thursday night before the con. And the venue is still not nailed down, but I think it sounds like he's getting very close. But we won't be able to make any formal announcements until probably another 3 or 4 weeks would be a guess. But if we know anything sooner, we definitely let you know. But so we can't give you the start time, which performers are going to be there, because of course George's band is probably going to be performing, but there might be some other entertainers there as well. It will be an event that's open to the public. But there will be a cover charge, so it'll be promoted as kind of I believe as a kind of a Heroes kickoff event in its own way. But I'm sure it's going to be mostly all of us comic art collectors going to this. So because I'd had a few people inquire if there was any way to support the event financially to kind of help everybody offset any costs that were going to go on. But there will be a cover charge, probably just something nominal to get in the door. So as soon as we have any information that we can share, I'll definitely make sure I relay that to you, and I'll probably push it out in an email to most people just to make them aware as well. But I wanted to make a note too that George will be performing also at the Friday night drink and draw. So George is going to be a busy guy during Heroes this year. But I wanted to get that out there because I know a lot of people have been curious about the Thursday night event. How do you get on the VIP list? Well, I heard if you wear a mankini, James, that you get moved to the front of the line. So if you want to do that, you're more than welcome. But you don't have to. You don't have to. I'm not going to be. So and you know what the interesting thing is? I actually was checking it out because obviously this is the CAF our 90th update that we've done consecutively since I started doing these in July or late. No, it's probably late June of 2020. That Thursday night of the Heroes show, Heroes special event for us will actually be the 100th night of a CAF update. So somehow I'm going to stream something that night. I can't, certainly I'm not going to spend an hour or two doing it, but we need to do something because I think that's a good night to celebrate the 100th anniversary of the CAF updates that we've been doing, and we'll be able to do it at Heroes Con, and we'll all be together. So, well, for those of you who can make it. So it'll be a good time. Johnny McCloskey says, "Don't give James any odd suggestions." And Chris, nope, no diapers will be worn. Although I do know that Anthony is actually attending that show. He's setting up as a dealer booth, so he'll be there. But no diapers on Anthony for that show. We can't have that. But What's the over under on webcams hacked tonight? That's a good question, Johnny. Hopefully we're not going to see any more of that. But again, it'll be a good. I'm looking forward to it. I didn't even mention that to George. I don't know if George is in the chat tonight, but that was one of my questions, was seeing whether or not we would actually be able to get Wi-Fi wherever the venue is, just so maybe I can actually do 15-20 minute CAF update broadcast from the event for everybody. So we'll see. I'll make a note to remind myself to ask George about that. I think that'd be fun. Definitely a good time to do it. Yeah, James is just waiting for an opportunity to show off his 6-pack, guns and claws out. All right, well, let me get on with a few things here as well. So as you guys knew, Mike and I went to the Steranko exhibit on Saturday. It was a reception for Jim. It was, I think, maybe the only time he was going to be at the exhibit hall during any kind of formal event. So we paid for the admission to go to it, and there was probably about 200 people there. And Rich Martinez was there. I remember, Ron Lim had mentioned that he was going to be there, and I'd never met him before, but he flew in all the way from Hawaii to Youngstown, Ohio, to see that. And he had spent a couple days in town, so we didn't even know it, or we probably could have tried arranging something with him earlier. But yeah, so he was there. There were a few other. Julio Crespo was there, again from out of state. So it was a nice turnout. Of course, Manny, who works with Jim Steranko, was there. The negative of the whole thing was they literally would not let anybody take a photograph during the event. It was a lot like the Ditko event, but even more stringent. First, and I've known this before, Steranko does not like anybody taking photographs of his artwork. I mean, he's set up in San Diego before, and if you were to lean a camera towards his work and take a picture of it, he doesn't like that. He'll ask you not to do it. I mean, he doesn't like his own picture taken. So I think that the museum had it pretty firm that they weren't going to let anybody do any photography. They had some photographers in there during the event. So when it got closer to the end, I did talk to the PR person there and just said, were those your photographers? And she said one of them was. And I just said, can you get some approved photos to send me? Well, she didn't send me any of the photos from the actual event, but she did end up sending me. She went in there and took some pictures with her cell phone and sent them to me. So I'll show that to you guys in a bit. But it was a great show. It really was. We're so used to seeing these smaller gallery exhibits, and this really was a museum exhibition. It spanned 3 decent size spaces that were there. They had about 25 to 30 of his shadow painted covers. And I know that there was some debate going on the other night about his painted covers, but I thought they were great. He's a big pulp collector, so his focus on that and his approach to those covers was very, very much like early pulp paintings. So I thought they were beautiful, and it was cool. I mean, literally they're all the same size. They're all on heavy board. And apparently he doesnn sell any of that stuff. I mean, I guess he does at times, but his shadow paintings, he hasn't sold anything. And he had his work from Indiana Jones. He had, there was some of his most classic cover paintings were there, but it was all paintings, no pen and ink work. Ron Lim even said, my buddy took a picture of Steranko talking to me, a rare picture. You're right. Steranko refuses to have his picture taken. And I was so tempted because when he was just, literally, he was hanging out and just talking to 20 people at a time. So he was really just putting on a show. And it was just amazing to watch it. Everybody was just enthralled listening to him, because probably a lot of these people had never met him before. But yeah, he was great. He was really entertaining. Top of his game as always. Rock hard handshake as he's always got. If anyone has ever met him before, he can crush your hand even at the age of 70 plus. But yep, there you go. Rich says he's got all the paperbacks, and I do too. I know that Ruben was saying he prefers the other ones, but I think Jim's approach was suited to Jim. I mean, he has probably one of the biggest pulp book collections out there. I mean, he's always trying to complete it, any runs and things that he's got. So I think it's his style for that really is fitting for that. And Steranko, he literally talked for 2 straight hours, never stopped. I only got to talk to him briefly at the end, but I did get his email from Manny, and so I'm going to shoot him an email next week and see if I can't try to work out something with Jim as far as I'd like to try to get him to do effectively a podcast. Maybe get him into this studio here, maybe even do it live if he'd let me. But you'd only have to look at me because he wouldn't be on camera. But if I could get him to do something like that, I think that would be pretty cool. Because when he and I had a lot more time to talk with him 2 years ago when he was actually at the IX Art Show in Reading, and came there with Manny, and he just had some really good stories. I think that all of you art collectors would love to hear, just talking about his about basically when he knew that Marvel was allowing art to get out the door, and he was naming names and everything on who was doing it. He just talked about how he basically made sure that he went back to the vaults and wouldn't leave until he got all his art. But I mean, so he had a lot of great stories along those lines that we as collectors would really enjoy hearing. I mean, whether I probably would not want him to name the names that he was saying to me, but again, it just shows you how passionate he is for his work. And when I show this, I've actually put this together. It's literally a minute because they only sent me 6 photographs. But this was like really important to Jim. When I talked to him at IX, 2 years ago, he was so looking forward to this. I mean, he really felt like this was like the pinnacle of success, was to get into a museum, because he's had smaller shows at cons and probably even galleries, but to get into the Butler Institute of American Art, which, I mean, it's only in Youngstown. I'd never been to it before, but it is at apparently one of the most prestigious American art museums in the country. And so he was really, really thrilled to have his stuff be there. And then the pandemic happened, and it seemed like it was just going to be canceled and he wasn't going to be able to have this. So I'm glad that the museum stuck with him and it allowed them to kind of have the whole thing go on. Yes, I know, guys. But at any rate, it's a very good show. So let me just show you the photos that I was able to get from the museum that they would let me show, because again, they literally didn't want any photos taken at all, and they definitely didn't want any close-up photos. And I just told them, just give me the pulled back shot, so at least people can see the scope of the work that's there. So they, so if you're willing to maybe take a 4 or 5 hour drive to see something like this, you probably should, because it was a very rare opportunity to see this much artwork by Jim all in one place. So here is that clip. So there you go. That's all I got. That's all I got from them. I was hoping they would send me some video clips or something. But that reception was pretty well attended. They said they sold 250 tickets, but it didn't seem like there was more than 200 people there. But again, a really good turnout, and again, Jim was pretty darn happy to have that many people. But yes, Brett, I know, seems very well attended. That's because they shot those pictures in the morning when nobody was there. But at any rate, what am I going to do? I mean, you'd think that I thought I'd have some clout. I literally emailed him 2 times before the show asking if I could be considered press, because the local paper was there and they actually were allowing them to take pictures too. So I was like, and they interviewed me even. So I was like, I asked them too. They said, well, we're local, so we were able to get permission to do this stuff. So, oh well, Comic Art Fans doesn't have the same credibility as some other media outlets out there, but you may or may not find this funny. Maureen didn't find it funny when I told her, but I thought this was funny when we were when Jim was regaling everybody on the his time in comics and his time as a magician. He was just talking about creativity and where he gets his creative spark from. And Mike said something to the effect of, Einstein has always said that creativity is far more important than intelligence. And Jim turned to him and he's like, "What comic book did Einstein ever draw?" And everybody laughed, and Mike just kind of shrunk back into the crowd for a moment. But it was still a fun time. Mike and I had a great time there because we met because it was great talking to Rich Martinez. I'd never gotten the chance to meet him, but he's got an incredible collection. He hasn't updated his CAF in about 10 years, but yeah, getting to meet him was pretty awesome. And he's like, "Well, what have I?" I'm like, "Why did you fly from Hawaii just for this show?" And yeah, Maureen won, Bill nothing. Exactly. I laugh at the stupidest stuff. You guys know that. But at any rate, what Rich said was, I asked him why would he fly all the way from Hawaii to be here. And I guess he's retired now. And he says, "Well, this is I got to do something with my time, and this was a worthwhile show." But he didn't even know about the Marvel exhibit down in Columbus. If he would have contacted us ahead of time, we would have let him. I would have probably even gone down there with him again to see it. So we shall see. We shall see. But let's see what else is going on. Speaking of the Columbus and the show that's going on down there with the Marvel exhibit, I did reach out to them. They're supposed to call me. The Billy Ireland Museum. They're going to call me back next week. But when I looked at the Marvel exhibit, I noted that it actually said it was supposed to end in May, and I'm like, wait a minute. I know Ben had told me that the show was going through August. So I contacted him, and he said that the show is going to be through August. It's just that the Cozy Center where the Marvel exhibit is at right now hasn't updated their dates. I'm not sure why it got delayed, and it's going to be able to be there through the end of August, because right now I think we're looking at sometime in August to do the Billy Ireland and the Marvel exhibit for anybody who wants to go to that in Columbus. The only thing that I have to talk to the Billy Ireland about is that at least through the documentation on their website, they only allow their largest kind of media room where they'll take the art out that you request to see. They only have that open Monday through Friday, and they pretty much state that they don't open it on the weekend. So I'm going to see if there's any possibility that we can work something out for a Saturday, even if maybe a donation from CAF or something would help them, consider opening that. Because I've kind of gone through the list of artwork that they have at the Billy Ireland, and I think that there would probably be a pretty good. There's a lot of art I'd like to see, and I think just doing it on a Friday wouldn't work well, and it probably wouldn't. Not many of you would be able to come out to something like that. Jay Giant will be there though. Yes, you will, because you're in Columbus. Let's see. The Florida move is going to break up the Berkey Bill bromance, says Chris. It will to a certain degree, but he'll get over it. He'll just have to move down to Florida, or we'll work something out. Johnny says that Maureen's got a bigger lead than 1-0. That's probably true. That's very true. I did hear Baker Mayfield wasn't. Yeah, he's not. So Mikhail says he'd make a Friday work if we can do it. Well, that's what we'll see. I'm going to talk with them next week, and hopefully, I'll be able to kind of firm up a few dates possible for that. I just want to make sure that there isn't any cons going on the weekends when we're going to do that, so everybody's going to be free. So, all right. So since we're talking schedule, I probably should just go over a couple things really quick on the schedule, because not a whole lot has changed. But you know what? I didn't even upload those. Gosh darn it. Like I say, I was coming in hot. So let me see here. I made all the graphics for this stuff. So let me highlight these things here. Get that uploaded. But let's see. I don't want to throw this off. So in May, as everybody knows, we got Comic Art Live coming up, and I was taking a few days off from my regular, my now normal 4 or 5 or even 6 shows a week schedule leading up to Comic Art Live. I wanted to take a few Mondays and Tuesdays off, and I was emailing with Larry Tun, and he said that he would be willing to sit in for a couple shows. And so he sent me some suggestions on some show ideas. And so I can show you, this is like the upcoming chat schedule. I got Nick Patera next Tuesday, and then Josh Raybuck the following one, and then Joe and Nadia the following one after that. But there on the Monday night, that is May 9th, Larry is going to host, and I don't think we finalized it yet, but I think he might be having 2 collectors on that I've done earlier interviews with, literally probably the ones that were done before we started live streaming. So I think he's reached out to maybe Mickey and someone else, and we'll see, just to kind of see how things have changed for them as collectors since those earlier interviews, for one. And then the following Monday, Larry's going to do he's going to host a Comic Art Live preview with some people who are going to be selling some artwork. And so they'll be showing off a few of the artworks that will be in their Comic Art Live booth. I'll just have to get them to promise and swear that they won't sell anything after they show it. But so maybe not. They shouldn't show all the best stuff. But I think as a preview show, that might be kind of fun. Give everybody a taste for what other collectors are bringing. And honestly, I mean, as everybody has probably watched in the past, most of the time when Comic Art Live is coming up, even by the Monday before the show, there might only be 1,200 artworks posted at that point. So many people post their artwork in the last 4 or 5 days. So I think having a preview show like that might encourage a few other collectors to exhibit and and up their game and bring some art. And heck, even it might encourage some people to go premium so they can get in the 2 hours earlier on Saturday morning. So a preview show, I think, is a good idea. The only thing I'd worry about is people trying to do end arounds and buy the stuff before it gets offered to people at the show. But again, it's definitely something I wanted to do too. And Larry thought it was a good idea, so we're going to try it. And Lake Como live stream that the Saturday before that. If anybody was watching my stream last night with Morger, Steve's a great guy. Frank Cho was in the chat with us last night. It's a lot of fun, but I'm looking forward to seeing the show from the inside, and a live stream with the Tatiana should be a lot of fun when I do that. And then I think all the rest of the stuff is the same. I've got ours, Jason, Sean, Alexander on May 23rd, Steve DeVich on the 24th, and then artist Jim Food on the 31st. So lots of fun interviews coming up. And but again, I want to take a few days off, and I'm so happy that Larry was willing to kind of step in and help keep the channel flowing and keeping the shows around while I'm taking a few days off, because I think on the 7th and 8th I'm going to be driving a U-Haul down to Florida. So the 2 weeks leading up to Comic Art Live are going to be pretty hectic. So having some time off is good for me. I'm not watching what you guys are saying. The Cavs are tied at the end of the third. Well, you never know. I follow basketball a little bit. I think basketball is probably of all the sports. I like basketball more than football and baseball. So if the Cavs don't win, what are you going to do? There's always next year. That's the motto of Clevelanders. There's always next year. So there's that. And as far as the sales shows go, let me go highlight that. I don't think I've added anything different here. Maybe updated a few things, but the tomorrow I've got Carl Moline with me at 2:00, and I've got all of his artwork. I didn't get an email out today, but I'll send one out early tomorrow. He's going to have some work from his time on Buffy the Vampire Slayer. There's going to be a Frey cover. There is an Uncanny X-Men variant cover, believe it or not, and some other published work, and then some unpublished as well. So, and then some DC work that he had done that he's super proud of. So I think we've got either 18 or 19 artworks to sell tomorrow. So this will be in that. I'll be doing that with the Third Eye Comics again. We'll be handling the payment processing and order fulfillment. So they've already got all the art. So if you bought any art when we did the Chaikin show or the Dennis Cowan show, that we usually get everything turned around really quickly with Third Eye running the fulfillment. So they do a great job, and so far so good with them. They just need payment within 48 hours so they can get things shipped out. And typically they ship everything out on Monday or Tuesday after the show. So things have worked out really great with them. Monday, of course, I've got Nick Barucci and Jordan on, and I just mocked up this is not the final thumbnail. I threw it together before the beginning of the show, but Nick versus Jordan, it will be a $500 and under show. So both guys bringing 24 artworks, and that's going to be next Monday at 9 p.m. Eastern. And I've actually already got Nick's entire inventory, so he's ready. He's locked and loaded. He sent me all of his memes. I've got to do some editing on them, but he is ready to go. And they were going to do like this wishful thinking kind of concept on their memes, but Nick has branched out and he's taken on some comic personas. So it's going to be an interesting show, as most of the amateur shows are. But our 11th should be very interesting, just because we've had both of these guys on the shows many times, but Nick has never done any selling on my show before. So I'm looking forward to doing that with him. Then, of course, we're going to, because of that show, we are going to do a sketch and commission unpublished show on Dueling Dealers next Wednesday. And there won't be any price limits on that show, but by and large, I would imagine most of the artwork will be under $1,000. Though, I know, knowing Mike, there's probably a Jack Kirby piece that's unpublished or something or whatever that he'll bring. I don't see that. What they typically don't get me their inventories until the Monday or the morning of the show or the evening prior. So I have no advanced knowledge of what they're going to be bringing to that one. Then the following Monday on the 25th, we've got Mick Spidey, Scott Wingo, and Dave Bixler, who will be duking it out in a Marvel versus DC bout. So we already know that Marvel has a historical edge on DC art that we sell on the channel. So I think Scott's got, he's got an edge before the show even gets started. But we'll see how it goes. David's got a great collection, and we know Batman art sells, and David is the Batman guy. So one way or another, it's going to be a good show. And I don't know how many pieces they're bringing. I think they talked about at least bringing 12 each. So it may not be like the normal, 15 pieces or whatnot, but whatever they bring, it's going to be good. And you're not going to want to miss that one. And Stanley asks, are there trophies for the Dueling Dealer winners? No, there are not. Just a high five and the adoration of all the people watching those shows. So yeah, and Nick cosplay. No, Nick is not dressing up as anyone. He's we kind of pitched him the idea of doing his name on CAF is what Nick what is it, Hal? I don't even remember all the names he uses on his CAF gallery. But I was like, hey, here's a lot of ideas you could try, because Maureen actually wrote them with Gwen for him, just to give him some cool ideas, and he did them all. And they the video clips actually turned out pretty cool. So yeah, it's going to be a fun show with those guys. Yes, Scott has a cool mixed shirt. He does. Look, he's even got Stan on it. James Siegel is already asking for time payments right away. Yes, you probably can ask for time payments, James. Just make it Batman versus Marvel, says Brett. That's true. That is true. There will be, I am sure that Bixler will only have, well, I can't say that, but it's going to be a lot of Batman art. So it's going to be fun. Let's see. I don't think there are any McFarlane published pieces for $1,000 or under anymore, unless they're fraudulent. And but there'd be a story in there that I could tell you about, but I'm not gonna go there right now. But let's see what else we got here. So then the following show I know I listed that as a 2,000 and under show, but I know Mike wants to do a regular show, so we'll probably just get back on the wagon and do a regular show after the McSpidey versus Bixler show. Then I've got Joe Linsner on April 30th, Saturday at 2 p.m. show again. Joe, I think I mentioned this last week too. I think it's going to be a big cover art drop again, but I have not gotten his art yet, but I do believe that I will have his art by Monday. So I'll be able to at least kind of give you an idea of what kind of work he's going to be bringing to that. Obviously, the first show that I did with Joe, I think it was almost a sellout. I think we sold 18 of 20 pieces or something along those lines. But Joe's just an amazing talent, fun to talk to, and everybody wants to get his art. And I know we did that last time with through the Talent Talk people, but this one will be handled by Third Eye as well. So I just feel really comfortable working with Third Eye. And then I've got it seems like I haven't had Jiggy on the show in a while, right? It's almost been a month, but I'll have Jiggy on for the May 2nd show with Harvey Tullabau, and we'll be showing off some Star Wars art. Then 2 shows, and these aren't fully confirmed yet, but Howard Chaykin wanted to come back on. He'll be on the 11th of June, hopefully, and then Tim Seeley will be on the 25th of June. Again, both of those being Saturday at 2 p.m. shows, and again, with Third Eye handling all of the fulfillment. So, I think we found a good match here as far as somebody for me to work with, and I like the fact that they're just ready and they really enjoy doing it. They do a lot of mail order through their comic shops. Let's see, what do we got? Heroes is my #1 priority show. That's what Jade just said. But yes, the Heroes Facebook chat that many of us are on it's been very, very heated and hot the last couple of days. So we can. We've talked that one to death, but I know that the Hero Show is going to be great. I'm really looking forward to it. It feels like that's going to be the first time we're going to be able to actually kick back and relax and have fun as a community in person. So a Cam and Zafino show would be up. Yeah, that's true, Rick. Ask Howard Chaykin to get a better mic, says Mark Fong. I could do that. I don't know if he would listen to me, but I can certainly ask him. He sits pretty far from his mic, because I think he's got it built into his I think he uses his laptop to do that, and he's always pretty far back from it. So a lot like the show started here with me. If you don't have your mic close by, you're in for trouble. So let's see what else I got here for you. That's right, we've got Comic Art Con is next weekend, so that's on the 23rd. And so those of you in New Jersey, I'm sure you're going to be there. If anybody goes, please take some pictures. They let you take pictures at the Comic Art Con, so I'm sure all the regulars will be there. Bashara, Will, and Anthony, and Hans. I mean, who else sets up there? Gosh, who is it? I don't know. See, I haven't been there in a long time, so take pictures. That way I'll know who set up. And what else we got after that? We got of course, Lake Como on the 13th through the 15th of May. MegaCon, I did actually email them about the panel. I haven't heard back yet, so I might have to give them a call. Kevin Boyd, if you're listening, I sent you an email. Hopefully you can get back to me and we can figure out if we can still do it or not. I was very late in getting back with them, just like I tend to be with most things, but I gave an outline, and Ken Carson from 4C offered to sit on the panel with me, and I guess Berkey is actually going to be down there, so he was going to sit in on it. Well, so as we were just going to, I gave him a good outline. We'll see if they like it. But of course, the show that really, really matters to everybody, I know, is Comic Art Live, and that will be on the weekend of May 21st and 22nd. And as I mentioned last week, we are going to be doing a special pre-sale of 9x12 sketches, and I'm still working out the artists that are going to be working with us, but I hope to have at least 50 opportunities available for that. They'll be super affordable, and a small portion of the sales will go towards Comic Art Live, and just help me with the programming and the extra expense that I've taken on the last couple times we've done the shows, because I have actually brought in help to help me with the panels and those sorts of things. So that'll be good. But hopefully I'll have more information on that next week, and I can give everybody a list. I'm still kind of waiting to hear from a couple people. But again, I think there'll be 50 opportunities. I can't see how we won't sell out on them. And if it goes well, we'll figure out how to do something similar the next time around. I thought it was a good point that somebody made last week about not having all the reps out there like pre-sell their stuff, just because it does give people a reason to be premium and get in early, to get on commission lists the old-fashioned way through the show. So this will be something that we never do like overkill or anything, but again, I think it just adds some fun to the show. Some of the artists will be sketching live Friday night from 9 p.m. until 11 p.m. Doing the work, the sketches that people buy. When we sell them, we'll allow the buyer to pick a character that they want to have drawn, but they won't know which artist is going to get that assignment. I'm going to handle all the assignments randomly, of course, and then you'll get whomever you get the artwork from. But we're just working out sort of the fulfillment angles on certain things. With Jiggy's people, I asked him to send everything to me, and then I will handle fulfillment once it gets here, because him shipping them out individually won't work. But some of the other people that I've spoken to said that they don't mind being responsible for shipping them. So we'll see. I mean, I don't want it to, I don't want to have a fiasco where things aren't getting shipped out properly on time and everything. So that's why I want to try to limit this to something that I can manage. So 50 sketch opportunities is probably a max point for me. Let's see what else we got out here. Any chance for an Inkers episode? I'd love to hear Terry Austin talk. And like Jordan just said, I did have a really nice interview with Scott Williams. That was probably about 6 months ago. And I had, I think West helped me hook up with Scott. So yeah, that was a good one. But yeah, no, I'm as everybody knows, I want to talk with artists more, and that is my focus. So I know Mel has been helping me out. I mean, a couple of those interviews that I've mentioned were because Mel was reaching out to different people, seeing if they'd be willing to do a sit down and chat. So we're working on it. We are working on it. Let's see what else we got here for you. Oh gosh. Oh, couple small updates. I'd asked Colin if anybody shot any photos at Wicked Comic Con, and apparently he didn't get any because he was too busy working the show. And he had somebody who was there actually was recording it. I know I don't have their name written down in front of me, but it is on the intro slide for this. The piece, they're just a bunch of video clips, really small. I think it doesn't last more than a minute, but I think there's one of Simon Bisley, Sean Gordon Murphy. You'll see. Couple other artists, but it's just kind of a sights and sounds 1 minute clip with I think about 6 or 7 different clips in here. So I'll go ahead and play that so you can feel like you're almost there, but not really. That's all I got. But strange grips those guys have. Yeah, it was a little odd, but they were trying, and they gave me a lot more material to look through, but that was pretty much the only art related stuff that they had taken at the show. A lot of stuff was more comic book back walls, people looking through stuff. It was different. There you go. Dante Luna Media Group. The actual videographer's name is Uter. Thank you, Colin. They're working on a documentary. That was when I went through all the videos as well, Colin, and I kind of got that vibe that they were trying to put together something along those lines. So, that's cool. I assume on some kind of a fandom bent, but yeah. But thanks, Colin. I'm glad we got to show something. I mean, it was the first show. I tried to pimp it as much as I could, but maybe next time, maybe you should wear a GoPro, Colin. Next year we'll get you a GoPro, and you can show us the behind the scenes action at the show. So, all right, what else I got here? Let's see. When I was emailing with George Hodge, I asked him if it was okay if I showed some of the images from that North Carolina meetup. I'm sure probably most of you saw a lot of these already on Facebook because they were posted in a couple different places. But again, just reminding everybody, meetups are great. I know Benno either having one, or he's maybe one's coming up, or he just had it. I don't know. I'll have to ask him about that. But here's some photos from a recent meetup as well. So there you go. There was a CAF at the end. George made a point of telling me. So there you go. And I know whenever I say CAF to certain people, at least people who don't know anything about comic card fans, I'm talking to a relative or somebody. I always refer to it as CAF as well. And I've had people ask me that. Do you mean a CAF? So anyway, yeah, that does happen a lot. There you go. Colin said a GoPro taped to him would be 8 hours of him directing people to the bathroom and explaining we ran out of swag bags by noon. Yeah. But I did, Colin, I did read that the show went really well and that it's going to be a 2-day event next year, and you're moving the venue to someplace even bigger. So I think that's great. Right. Kudos to you and everybody on that team. I think that's great. I was, I always love my big wow days, but I could never do a show like that again. But I mean, it's cool. It's good. If you get it to a 2-day show, it should be even better. All right. I think I've probably hit through all the stuff that I wanted to talk about. But like I said, I had a very short list tonight because I was running up against it. But so I'm going to get into the CAF update, which I'm really not prepared for either. But I'll do my best. And I know that Chris Nork's going to be with me tonight to do his 10 picks along with mine as well. So let me go ahead and get us started on this thing. It was, if it wasn't for the Heritage auction, it would have been kind of a mediocre week. The dealers only had, I think, they had less than $210,000 in sales, and the auction houses, gosh, I'd have to double check, but I believe the auction houses literally had, where was that? I can't even see the total, but I mean, I don't even think that eBay and Heritage on their weekly auctions were over 250, 275, somewhere around there. So it was a really bad week. But of course, the signature auction was the thing that buoyed everything. But so let's go ahead and take a look at the dealers. Now, as far as the dealers go, 207,000 was their total sales for the week, and Panel Page was the leader. 12 sales, $58,000 in overall asking price for the 12 sales. Albert was next, 22 sales. $45,000. Ramita Man next with $36,000 in sales. Anthony leading the way in total sales with 54. He just had $22,800 in sales. And then what do we got? Felix with 2 sales, $12,600. So let me take a look here and show you the top 6 sales from the week of the 4th through the 10th. All right, here we go. Dealers. So first up, this one was sold by Glenn at Panel Page. Asking price here was $30,000. Now, this was the cover to Spectacular Spider-Man 221 with Sal Buscema pencils, Bill Sienkiewicz inks. And this was sold by Albert. It's been on his site for a while. This asking price was $20,000. This was from New Teen Titans, the Volume 2, Issue 5 cover by George Perez. I always love this cover. Then this one was sold by Felix, and it's listed just as a cover, but at $12,000, I don't know if maybe that was a full issue, but it's from the Magic Order 2, issue 4. So either it was the cover or it was a complete book. I'm not sure. I didn't get a chance to review the notes on that one. Colin would know, though. So next up, this is John Romita Jr., Claus Jansen. The cover to Superman 43 was sold for $9,000 by Albert. Sorry for the blurry one on here. Glenn already deleted the large image. So this was by Dan Jurgens. It's from Sensational Spider-Man 4. The cover to that, asking price on this one from Glenn was $7,500. And finally, this one was sold by Berkey, and the asking price was $7,000 by Simon Bisley. This is a Lady of the Lake published painting from 2006. So there you go. That is the top 6. So it was a complete issue. Thank you, Mikhail. I had a feeling, but I was running late and I wasn't able to go back and read Colin's report. So pep talk, Bill. Chrono Chaser still wants a pep talk. And there you go, Colin. Thank you for, because I knew you guys already had the date. So April 22nd and 23rd at the Heinz Convention Center in Boston will be the next Wicked Comic-Con. And that's great. That's great. Maybe I'll even try to make it out there. That would be a fun trip. And Mr. Redjack said the painting by Bisley was very nice. And that was Bisley, I think, was the first artist drawing the Lobo in the Wicked Comic-Con bit. And Hobby, thank you for reminding everybody to hit the like. Nick is not here this evening. I think he's busy. He didn't have a show tonight, did he? I actually tuned in at 7. I went over to, since I was working, I felt it would be something to kind of keep me occupied in the background. And they didn't have a show scheduled. And they don't have, I guess maybe they gave everybody the week off. They look like they don't have a show again until Monday. So, all right. What do we got here? Yes. Chrono Chaser says I would give everybody a pep talk about the auction houses. I mean, we're going into the auction segment. I mean, I don't know. Well, how can I actually make anybody feel better? The only thing I would say is to remind everybody that from the Heritage auction recap that we did on Tuesday with Dino, Albert, and Nick and Mike, it was really the first time in a long time that we all talked about prices not realizing what we thought they would. Now, that doesn't mean that they weren't higher than they would have been, 2 months ago or 4 months ago or 6 months ago with the prior signature auctions. But the thing is that, sales slightly seem to be tapering off, and whether or not that had to do with the overabundance of auctions that Heritage had in it, I think that that's an interesting sign. Like I know there was some people joking in there about trying to get more people to consign because it'll help drive the prices down a little bit. And but it's hard to say. But so the silver lining, the pep talk. I mean, for me, I think it still comes back to that. It's not about that. I hate to say you got to appreciate what you have, because we talked about that last night with Steve, where the thing is, the nice stuff that we have today in our collections, if we were to sell those, we almost can't replace half of them. I mean, that's just where we're at as a hobby. And I think that, it's unfortunate that we're here, but at the same time, I don't think there's going to be a correction to the pricing that we're seeing today. I think that it's kind of here to stay, even if it levels off and we don't see the dramatic increases going forward. Because I do think that, I can already see a dynamic changing now that cons are coming back. I'm definitely getting, I'm getting less contacts about doing the Comic Art live show from dealers and reps and those sorts of things. Not that the interest isn't there, it's just that they're scattered. So I think as we start seeing more sales happening at cons again, that might change the record-setting prices that we're seeing at auction houses. I mean, it's not going to slow any of those places down from trying to capitalize on the current market. But I do think that now that in-person shows are coming back, I think that the next 12 months it'll just be interesting to watch. I just don't think we're going to see the prices continuing to increase as we've seen them increasing the last 18 months. So I'm sorry, I wish I could be reading. Ask Bill why there are many postings with females half-dressed or bent over a table. As a father of one and a grandfather of 3 girls, I can no longer play on this field character before comics. I don't know. I don't see that many things. I know they probably stand out to you when you do see them on the site, but the trick is, at the end of the day, as long as it's not X-rated. I mean, we do have moderators that block a lot of stuff on CAF, but at the end of the day, it's by and large that's not what CAF is. I know people who see those things tend to just say that's all that CAF's all about. And the issue really comes down to, you look at eBay. I mean, half of the artwork that's on eBay is, poorly drawn or well drawn female pinups, right? It just is what it is. And they have a big marketplace for that. And so what am I supposed to do? Am I supposed to tell collectors what they're allowed to collect or not collect? And that's not, it's not my right to tell people that they can only collect things that that the masses feel is the appropriate type of work to collect. So that's the problem. That's the challenge. I mean, if that maybe that's a different person's site, but it's not my site. So I'm never going to be in a position where I tell people what they can and cannot buy, or what they can and and shouldn't show, as long as it's not crossing any boundaries that needs to be locked down. I'm just thinking of Ruben's imagery, which I only asked him to lock it down. Everybody, I didn't ask him to take it off, but. So art is very subjective. Art is both dangerous and beautiful, says Mel. It's true, and that's the problem. It's like, because when people are collecting it, I mean, the thing is, they love it. They love it as much as I love collecting published X-Men work, right? And so you can't arbiter a person's choice in what they collect. I mean, you can ask them to restrict it when it's actually risque and needs to be restricted, but I don't think I could ever do that. But of course, some people take things the wrong way when look in your calf galleries. My girlie gets more hits. Boys will. Yeah, it's true. I know, Todd. Well, it is, because a lot of people come to calf for different reasons, and some of it, some of it's because they like to see beautiful women in comic character costumes. What are you gonna, what can we do? That's just part of things. If I were to show you guys like the top 50 keywords that Google sends people into to CAF, it's usually female characters first. You're always going to have like Wonder Woman and Scarlet Witch, and it just is what it is. Subjective, yes, but would you let your kids see it or pose for one? If not, you have your answer. But again, you have to be showing me some images. At the end of the day, what you're talking about is something that you might see 3 or 4 times in a week. So if you're focusing in on 3 or 4 pieces in a week when there's 1,500 artworks added, then I think you're just focusing on the wrong thing. I mean, I agree with you. That the moderators know if the artwork is risque, if it's meant to, and I even tell them, if it's meant to titillate. I don't hate to say that word out loud, but it doesn't feel right. Let's see. It didn't get deleted, Ruben. I'll address that's what you just said in a second. But the rule to the moderators is, a nude is a nude. I mean, if we're going to ban nudes, then we shouldn't even let Frazetta Works show. And I know that's not what you're talking about. So my rules to the moderators are, if the image is drawn of a, whether it's a comic character or whatever, and it's meant to be, and it's drawn with the intent to be risque, then it needs to be scrutinized and potentially asked to be locked up and put into the not work safe mode. So as it relates to Ruben, I know you were talking about it being deleted, and we don't delete art, Ruben. It was only turned off. So it was turned off, and if you go back and read your email, it'll say to you, we've turned it off for you, and all we ask is that you move it into a not work safe category. We don't want to do that for you, because it's not my desire to move things around in people's CAF galleries. I can only turn them on and off with the with that kind of bent. So you can go back and look. It's still there. We can't delete artwork from your CAF gallery. So well, then I don't know what you did with it, Ruben, but we didn't delete it. It does not get deleted. The message literally said, because I'm the one who, a moderator pointed it out to me. I'm the one who actually pressed because moderators point things out to me and it doesn't turn them off. I get the email, and then I have 2 options. I can either tell the person to delete it because it doesn't meet it's crossed the bounds of the criteria that we have, or I can tell them, I can send them you got to put it in a not work safe CAF gallery. But in either option doesn't delete the art. It just turns it off with the instructions, either that you need to move it to not work safe status, or move it to or get it off the site permanently and never turn it on again. So we have a serious journalist here tonight. I'm not. I guess I'm missing some posts here. I just got kicked off. It's L Don. Oh, okay. Well, Don, I was actually feeling here. Okay, well, I don't want to talk about issues with certain people. L Don, of course, is now I know who you are. Nice to see you, and that's fine. I was literally thinking, if you never talk to me again, I wouldn't mind having you back on CAF. But you're talking to me again, and unfortunately, that's kind of so. Everybody, just El Don is somebody who loves to push the boundaries, as he's told me many times over the last couple of years in email conversations that he and I have had, where he's very critical of many things on CAF, and he's not. It's the things that he's talking about in the chat right now are actually things that he's just brought up recently. But we've had issues before with many things that he doesn't like about CAF, and so something recently he's talking about a Vargas. Yeah, he posted a print of Vargas on the site. It was clear print. It was literally like folded in half. The moderators. So in his description, he says, this won't get deleted because the moderators aren't real and Bill Cox is blah blah blah. So I was like, so of course the moderator saw it and let me know about it and said, oh, and by the way, they're naming you in it as well. So I was like, I don't mind having conversations with somebody who doesn't like CAF, as long as we're doing it behind the scenes. We had several long chain conversations about CAF, El Don and I. And what happened at the end, so for me, he's crossed the boundary. Now he's saying openly to everybody how ashamed he is of this site that he's working on and posting some artwork. And now he's naming me as being someone who's culpable and not, not taking care of things properly. So at any rate, Eldon, honestly, I was actually going to email you tonight or today, even if I had time. I was just going to say, because what happened at the end of the day, I was like, that's you've kind of gone beyond, where you're at. Because in our other conversations that Eldon and I have had, I had actually had to say to him, if you're really this unhappy on CAF, maybe you should just go. But he wouldn't. He would always come back, and we'd always have another conversation about something else that he doesn't like about it. And but I didn't mind doing it. And I didn't mind having these conversations with somebody. But I felt like the moment you're going to go out and talk about the site publicly and how you're embarrassed about it, you really shouldn't really be using it if you don't like it that much. So Eldon, I apologize. I really was going to email you today and just tell you, because I turned off his access to be able to manage his CAF gallery. I was just like, you know what? Maybe you should be done this time. It's really time to be done, because when you're going to call out me saying that, think that I'm not really taking care of things on CAF, I just don't think that's really fair. But of course, and just so everybody knows, the only method I had to turn his artwork off was to use that same thing that the moderators have access to. So Eldon thought that I was mad about this Vargas print. It wasn't that I was mad about the Vargas print. Was that was my only means of turning it off, was using this click. And it specifically kind of focuses in on things where you cross the line as far as nudity and those sorts of things. But that wasn't what the reason I turned it off. I turned it off because he's basically it's gone beyond the one-on-one conversations about how much he's disappointed and doesn't like CAF and whatever, and is disappointed in me. And he's putting it out there, to the whole world. And I'm like, well, if that's where you're at, you shouldn't even be here. But I was literally going to email you and just say, you know what, as long as you never talk to me again and post things about me on my own site, I was going to turn your CAF gallery back on so you could have access to it. But I guess maybe you're not interested in that. So at any rate, everybody, sorry to air that, but now that I understand, because I thought about talking about this in a general way, because this kind of stuff really does bother me. I don't like people I don't like people to be unhappy on CAF. I do everything that I can to make people. That's why I have these long email chains with Eldon, where I had, because I went back after I saw that. I'm like, I've had literally 20 email exchanges with him, just talking about the CAF and agreeing with him about certain things, that things could be better, things could be changed, blah, 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 and still he is in this spot of wanting to push the boundaries of CAF, as he's mentioned many times to me. So at any rate, maybe we'll have another email exchange, Eldon, and we'll get your CAF gallery turned on again if you can handle not doing that kind of thing. But at the end of the day, if you're not happy, you shouldn't be here. And that's all. And I'm not some monarch at the end of the day. Quite the difference in that. So yes, I know. Don't feed the trolls. Trust me. I was trying to make this guy happy. He just isn't a happy guy. Yep. Gosh. At any rate, and again, I hate these things only happen. I think that I've had Eldon, maybe only two or three other times in the 20 years that I've run CAF have I had somebody who, I wasn't, trust me, I'm not trying to sway this guy. I was trying to make him, just happy. He's a collector. He hadn't posted anything when we first started emailing 2 years ago, but he actually posted a lot of stuff. And I just don't, what am I going to do? At the end of the day, if somebody's not happy on the site, I just feel like they shouldn't be here. It's not good for them. It's not good for their psyche, and it's not good for me to always have to be trying to help people out. But again, we all agree that that the risque artwork on CAF either needs to be locked down or whatnot. It just that's not something that anybody, I think, here would ever disagree with. It's just and the moderators on the site. Heck, if there was a really grotesque piece of artwork that was brought in on the crawl today that I got emailed about, and we came up with a way to basically, put a not work safe image on it permanently, because it's crawled in. If we were to delete it, it would keep coming back in the crawl as a new item. So we had to leave the item in the inventory, but black out the image for it so that it'll just disappear eventually. So these things are really important to us, and we take it really seriously, and we don't, Eldon, rule with an iron fist around here. That's probably the wrong thing to say, but at the end of the day, we just want everybody to be happy, and it's unfortunate that we all can't. So as Jay Giant said, next. All right. Nudity should require login to view as adult verification. Yeah, well, that's what the not work safe filter is all about. And that is that's why we want people to use them. We use the not work safe feature. A lot of guys, literally, if it's even mildly risque, will lock their stuff down. And to me, art is art. There is a boundary between nudity and things that are risque. Tried to have more of an open mind about things, and whereas certain nudes are okay. Like when we did the stream last night with Steve, and he had a Vargas, ironically, there that was topless. You have to. Well, and I thought about, should I show this or not? And then on artistic merit, I felt like it was fine. And it is. Literally, YouTube has no problem with those sorts of things. So it's just when art crosses the boundary of being in good taste. But it is what it is. So, all right, I'm over that now. That was interesting, because obviously they've never been in the chat before. I'm still going to probably email the guy and tell him, if you can just get along and not, and just don't email me ever again, and don't mention my name on the site. You can have a place on CAF. So anyway, that was 10 minutes of my time. So let me get on with the CAF update, and we'll talk about those auction results. But we're not going to talk about the signature auction results, of course, because we talked that to death on Tuesday. So let me go ahead and show off the top 3 eBay results and the top 3 Heritage Weekly results. Now, I know one of the eBay results was a best offer, and I did not have the opportunity to go back and look at it. I'll tell you which one it is when I show it. So let's see here. So again, it's of course a bit skewed, $14 million towards the signature auction. But first up from eBay is this J. Scott Campbell Catwoman 80th anniversary #1 cover, variant cover, and it sold for $13,570 on eBay. Next up was this pretty awesome Carmen Infantino Star Wars 19 page 16 piece, sold for $5,300 at auction. And finally, the piece that did have a make offer on it, so I don't know the actual price. This is from Declan Shalvey from Moon Knight #1, pages 7 and 8. And the price before the make offer was $4,600. And so now we got the Heritage results. This first one is by Al Milgram and Jim Mooney. This is from Spectacular Spider-Man 77, page 9. And this one went for $7,800 with the buyer's premium. Next up, awesome Milton Caniff, Terry and the Pirates Daily from 1941. This one went for $7,200. And yep, one day I will own a Milton Caniff, Terry and the Pirates Daily. I promise. Finally, I guess this is like 'tis the season. So the Simon Bisley, the third time we mentioned him this evening, a crucifixion illustration, sold for $3,120 in the Heritage Weekly auction. I don't know what that was for, though. I should have read the description just to see. So yeah, so there you have it. So why don't we get on? We should be talking about some artwork. So Chris Snorrick has been in the chat for sitting in the green room, anxiously awaiting to get into this thing. He's been away for a few weeks. Hey, Chris, how are you?
Good,
man. Nice to see you again.
How's it going, Bill?
It's been a stressful. Honestly, it's been a stressful day, but yeah, stressful. Kind of week. Because that kind of stuff it really does bother me. It eats me up. I literally was thinking about it today. I'm like, I got to email this guy and try to just smooth things out. I like everybody getting along. It's not my it's just not. I have only one time that I ever banished somebody from CAF. And that was, people probably remember it, but it was about 10 years ago. We had there's an infamous guy who sold a lot of forgeries, and and he was on CAF as well, and not necessarily doing anything bad there, but he had earned this reputation, and I'd kicked him off. So that really, it was the only other time I've ever had to do anything like that, or I felt the need to, protect the CAF community for that. I mean, this was clearly, really different, but yeah, it works me up. I mean, it's just, I'm uncomfortable with it. It's not the way I want CAF to run. I don't want to, that's the last thing I want to have to deal with on a day-to-day basis.
Well, the good news is that the other 99.999% of us think it's fine. So
thank you.
Take that for what you will.
So have you enjoyed your couple weeks off?
Yeah, it's been good. No complaints.
Good. Well, I've got your artwork all prepped to go, but I haven't set mine up yet. So it's going to be interesting when we switch from you to me here tonight. But yeah, but let's get your stuff started, because there's a few artists in here whose names I'm not familiar with. So I think it's going to be a good night for me to learn a few pieces, and some artists that I think probably a lot of people aren't going to be familiar with some of them. But let's see. Let me get this first thing queued up here, and all right. So let's see. All right. I'm sorry. Okay, now we're good. So who's okay?
Yeah, yep. I wasn't familiar with this artist either, but the image, this was a piece where it really jumped out at me from the thumbnail, and it's really reminiscent of like Tattoo Flash. So yeah, obviously being a guy with a lot of tattoos, this spoke to me. So we don't see, I don't feel like we see a ton of like advertising or merchandising art on the site. So it was cool from that perspective too. Just really nicely rendered, really, emphatic line work, which again kind of gets back to that like tattoo aesthetic. But, who doesn't love skulls, and, there's a two-headed eagle. It's pretty awesome.
That is really, really cool. I know. And, people would say, should this be on CAF? Yeah, heck. I mean, I want as much illustration art as possible. Yeah. As long as it's, it could be advertising. It could be almost anything. But yeah, this is beautiful. And we wouldn't get to see it if somebody wasn't willing to share work like this.
Absolutely.
So, and this is in George Hodge's collection.
It's
the second.
Yeah.
How many times George Hodge and Simon Bisley have probably been name dropped equally tonight? Congratulations, George. But yeah, this is a great one. Let me get my get a like on that one. So Sam Pearson, did we get a write up on here? Meet Colorado USA artist Sam Pearson. He penciled and inked this killer artwork for the 100% non-carbonated mountain water sourced and canned in the Alps company Liquid Death. This art was used for merchandising and was originally released in 2021. Very cool.
Yeah, ML makes a good point. CGR, Cosmic Ghost Rider concept sketches were started life as tattoo art. So
they did?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, in fact, they were posted to the site maybe a week ago. Of course, Rob Rush.
Yes, of course, Rob. Mm-hmm. All right, well, I got to make a note. I didn't see him.
Yeah.
I have not spent enough time on CAF, honestly, the last couple of weeks. So
Michael's giving me a hard time. Michael Callahan, it was rough sledding this week, picking top 10 for me. So sorry. But yes, this is top 10 to me this week.
All right. Hey, nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that. So let's see. We were in Alexander Reed's CAF gallery and Mark Gibbons.
So full disclosure for anybody who feels like they're a real serious nerd, I used to play 40K. So I used to play Warhammer. Mm-hmm. So question your nerd credibility unless you played Warhammer at some point or some miniatures game in your life. So Mortarion is the one of the Primarchs in 40K, and this like just jumped off the screen at me and like grabbed me around the neck and said, "You got to pick me." So love all the ink washes. There's a ton of like really cool tonal work here. This piece obviously screams Warhammer, screams 40K. I love the little Death Guard models in the foreground there, and then that Mortarion with his scythe kind of looming in the background.
No, very cool. I'm so tempted to always buy a Warhammer video games, and I keep thinking if I ever did, I'd waste so much time at it, I'd never get anything done. But I'm a regular buyer on Steam, and but I've avoided the Warhammer games just because I know I'd get sucked in and I would never get out. But
well, it's worse when you're buying the miniatures and you're spending literally hundreds of hours of your life assembling and then painting them.
I can
It
only
could be
imagine.
worse, Bill.
All right. Well, maybe the video game, I should try it. This dabble once or twice in it. But no, this is pretty cool as well. And Mark Gibbons, not familiar with that name at all. So let's see. Got the like on that. Next up, Tony Harris. I'm familiar with Tony Harris.
Yeah, big fan of Tony Harris. Berkey had a piece from him that was fairly recent on Dueling Dealers a couple of weeks ago. That's up on his site now. It was a Justice League cover.
Mm-hmm.
I hadn't seen anything from Tony Harris in a long time, so this is a couple of new Tony Harris works, or new to me anyway. Tony Harris works in the last few weeks, so really happy to see him, working in this medium, working in this industry again. And what I thought was coolest about this, so I was a big Starman fan back in the day. And what I thought was coolest about this was if you take a minute to look at the description on this, he goes into the fact that, Tony went to great pains to update Jack Knight as though time had passed since he had last illustrated him, which I thought was really cool. And did that with, adding tattoos, and, his hairstyle was different, and, things like that. So I just thought that was a cool, like, characterful touch to this piece.
Yeah. Yeah, I was actually over Berkey's a couple of weeks ago, and he had a really nice piece by Tony Harris that I couldn't identify. It looked like it was either an X-Men DPS or maybe a wraparound cover or something. It had should have taken a picture of it because I could have shown it off, Chris. Yeah. But it was he didn't know what it was, and I didn't either. But it had like a Professor X in the middle, and I think it had Cyclops on one side, maybe Wolverine on the other, with Rogue with one of them. And
was it maybe card art or packaging art for a card game?
It was on a single board that was a DPS, so okay. It was huge.
I seem to remember that he did box art for a trading card game a long time ago, and maybe it was that.
Huh. I'll take a Google and see if I can find it. But it was really a really nice piece. And Mike was like, "Oh, I don't know what it is, so I don't want to sell it."
Yeah.
Like, come on, man. It was really nice piece of art.
But this was just really cool. Like I said, big fan of Tony Harris, big fan of Starman. So when you put the two together, that's pretty magical. He's got the Zodiac, like DC did an enamel pin of that design that's on his shirt back in the day. My first piece of original art I ever bought was a Tony Harris page from Starman. So near and dear to my heart.
Yeah, really, really cool. I love Tony's work as well.
The process pics are cool too.
Yeah, I always, I encourage more people to do this. And I remember somebody pointed this out to me once, that for some reason it stops at 3 in a row, and it should go all the way across. I've got to remind myself to look into why our programming is doing that, because I think that they used to, depending on it, whether they were horizontal or vertical images, it would just kind of fill the space. So maybe you get 4 or 5 or 6 sometimes, but that's a coding issue I'll have to look into when I have a spare moment. All right, so I got my like on that one. Next up, piece by Lee Weeks. And did I see that Lee Weeks is going to be at the Heroes show?
Yes, just saw that today myself.
Yeah, their guest list is really starting to look great, isn't it?
It's piling up. Interestingly, I went to look because Lee had been added. I went to look at Essential Sequential, and if Jason's website is to be believed, 2/3 of his roster are going to be there. They're not on the Heroes website yet, so but I'm hopeful.
Well, that'll be great. Yeah, it's going to be a really good show. I mean, I don't know how much time I'm going to have to buy artwork and whatnot, but I think as far as a show for us collectors, it's going to be really cool. And I'm actually going to try to reach out to them early in the week and see if I can't get some more information about some of the stuff that they've kind of teased to me that they think they were going to do, because I'd really like to kind of firm it up and start talking with them about how I can help. And cool. I think Heroes is going to be a party, everybody. You're going to want to be there, one way or another.
And if you see me and I shove you violently out of the way, it's because I'm going to get that art that Bill is not going after.
Oh man, but this is a really, really great piece by Lee. I mean, I
Yeah,
love,
the king of DPSs, of course, posted this.
yeah,
So nice pickup, James. I just love this. I love Lee Weeks. This is when he was definitely in his more like Kubert style. Obviously as a graduate of the Kubert school, that makes a lot of sense. But and given the subject matter, it of course makes a lot of sense. But this was that kind of 90s Lee Weeks before he like leaned into Daredevil and things like that. So
yeah,
I would say easily one of the best Gambit artists. One of the guys who probably worked on the character the most, that I would say is a definitive Gambit artist. So again, having that in common with Kubert's. But killer subject matter. This piece looks great in color too, which we've talked about is not all that common, to be honest.
Mhm.
But yeah, everything you would want from a Gambit piece for sure. I mean, if you're a lover of that character, it checks all those boxes.
Yeah, that's great. Well, congratulations, James. I thought you were going to be cooling off at the beginning of the year, but you just keep buying these great pieces all the time.
Yep, he's stacking them up.
He certainly is the king of the DPS. That's his permanent name, I think, on CAF. He really owns the DPS category.
Yeah, he's cornered the market.
Yes, he has. All right, what do we got next here? Sif by Nick Bradshaw. Wow.
This I just love the design. It's a great image, but I think the reason that it's a great image is not really anything that he necessarily illustrated, but it's the way he chose to like put this image together. I just love the counterbalance of the negative space that's coming in from the top, like highlighting, pointing down at the figure. The perspective that he applied, like to, the way she's holding her sword, and for kind of I think everybody knows Nick does these like kind of on spec, almost like on spec commissions. So he'll do 3 or 4 or 6 or whatever pieces during the, 2 weeks. And then he posts them all on his website for sale.
Mm-hmm.
And this is one of those. And I think, this is maybe the best one I've seen, and I own one. So I'm saying like, this is way better than the one I bought. This is killer.
Yeah, it's amazing. I mean, the perspective alone is worth it. I mean, you're pretty much at ground level, but yeah, this is fantastic. I mean, Nick's
and just
awesome.
Great use of so much contrast. Like this is an Aranga piece, like a high contrast, drama. The her facial expression is just awesome. Nothing not to like about this.
Well, I agree. I'd like to own this one. All right. Okay, this is in Eric's CAF.
So I picked this, well, partially obviously because it belongs to Eric and he's my boy, but honestly, mostly because I saw this thing in person, because he had to bring it to my house to get scanned, and it's breathtaking. I mean, in person, it just is incredible. There's just no other way to put it. So it's a feast for the eyes for textures, for sure. I mean, there's so much different textural stuff happening in this piece. It's really crowded. It's very busy and it's cluttered, but Morales did so much cool stuff over Bennett's pencils to push things apart. So like, Vulture's wing, for example, behind Spidey, right? Really does. I mean, it's accurately lit, right? Based on how he's angled. But then it also, from a graphic standpoint, it pushes Spidey out, which is cool. And then I would say the same thing that I said about this initially, which is the fact that Joe Bennett designed this with that Doc Ock tentacle breaking all 3 panels is such a great and cool unifying element for this. It's a triptych. It's 3 11x17s.
Wow. No, this the design is incredible. Morales's inks are incredible.
But like the difference on, so I talked about texture a minute ago, but like the difference on Sandman, right?
Right.
Versus Doc Ock's tentacle. I mean, it's clear that that's sand. that's metal. It's breaking the plane. It's breaking over top of Mysterio's like quilted, like weird fishnetty uniform, wherever that freak wears. But yeah, I don't know. Just amazing. Really incredible piece.
No, it is. I'm sure Eric is thrilled.
It's already at the framers.
Oh man. And everybody, just so everybody knows, Eric actually helped me with the best of icons, so I do have them now. And certainly by this time next week, I'll have that programming in there. So anybody who's won a best of will have the icons in their CAF gallery from the last 3 years. So sorry it took so long. It's mostly my fault, but this is it'll be cool to have that done. And Eric was generous to kind of give me his time and put together the icons for me. So thank you very much, Eric, for doing that. Oh, that one deserves. If I could like it twice, I would. Yeah, that's crazy good. Another sword. No, is this Michelle Bandini?
I think, but I think it's probably pronounced Michelle because
Michelle.
I believe Michelle is male. I think.
Okay.
I'm not 100% on that.
All right.
But yeah.
It says from his commission list. You're right.
So I think, I am guilty of overusing the word composition when I talk about these pieces, but when you're talking about a single figure, I feel like if it's really well done, that's because it's well composed. And I think the way that he put this image together using the fire, arcing, that C-shaped composition that he did with the fire arcing up from the bottom and, leading up to her sword, leaves that awesome space in the middle for her to occupy. Such a cool stance. And a really, Magic is a really cool looking character. And I don't know a lot about her. I'm not a big, full disclosure, not a big mutant guy, but whenever I see her, I feel like she's a character that illustrators like to illustrate. So, a lot of times when you see a cool image of Magic, it's because I feel like, people enjoy drawing her.
Mm-hmm. Well, anyone with a weapon and a cool costume. I mean, no, but this is a great, I would say I have to fall back on the composition as well. I mean, she's leaning into that C shape and, just the flames around her. I mean, it's perfect. I mean, that thing is gorgeous. So,
very cool. And, to take nothing away from the, really nicely rendered, awesome textures on her like leather costume. Just terrific image. Like it a lot.
Oh, I agree. And what do they say from his commission list, which started prior to his Donny Cates Thor run? So this one was in the process for a while. All right. And Brian Lake's collection. All right. I'm going to check out. I'm going to save that tab for later just to see some of their other work. Huh.
I saw a tremendous Iron Man from that. I think from that same commission list, maybe a previous one that was mind-blowingly good. Michelle is obviously really talented.
Yeah, clearly. Nope, I'm sold. I wonder, do they maintain their own commission list or are they repped by somebody?
I think they're repped, but I'll be damned if I can remember by whom. Sorry.
Well, I'm going to look around. That's something that we could do a better job of on CAF with some of these artists. It's like, I did start tying our artist database to who their reps are, but in a lot of cases, I don't have all the reps in our database system. So,
there are a lot.
There are. It's very hard to keep up with them all.
I forget just how many, like, even between like Cadence and Splash Page, I'm like, those two guys have got like 100 artists. It seems like it's crazy.
Cadence, I mean, gosh, they must have at least 70 or more on their own. And you're right. I think Mark, he has to have at least 50 artists that he reps.
Yeah.
Hey, look at that, Michaela. The Battissimo is working as far as being able to give you your ranks tonight. But there is no giveaway to enter. I'm sorry. I will get back to doing that. I apologize for not. I haven't really done any of those since the first of the year. It's I always have to get caught up.
Order a T-shirt before Heroes, Bill. That's my own. I have to get a T-shirt.
Yeah, Yes, you should. It'll be easy to spot all the comic card fans in the audience if we're all wearing comic card fan shirts. All right. Well, congratulations to Brian Lake on this piece. That's really great. What do we got here next? Oh, Butch. Hey, speaking of Butch Geis.
I was jacked in the beginning when we started talking about Butch Geis. I was
Yep.
like, yes, there's some synergy here tonight.
There is.
I love Butch Geis. When he was working on, he was one of the there was like Luke Ross and Butch Geis and Epting and Mike Perkins that were all kind of like revolving on Captain America there for quite a while. And always really looked forward to Butch Geis's issues, working on one of the same characters here in Winter Soldier. What do you really say about this? I mean, the background is tremendous. The inks that he did to portray the snowstorm there are really cool. And then he popped the midground, which I really love in like a single character illustration. And they do something cool with the midground because it just gives it, there's more to it then, right? You're not just like focused then on the subject, the central character. It's a more well-rounded illustration. And this, I didn't look at the color piece. Nice.
That's not bad.
Yeah, but I'm a big, I love the Winter Soldier, and Geis is, really is made to draw him. So.
Dang. Yeah, no, it's a great piece. And yeah, as everybody now knows, I've been wanting to get a piece by Geis for a long time. And now I have one.
I don't have one either.
Thanks to Rick Welch. Man, it's good to have a birthday every now and again. But no, this is a really great piece. And I don't know if I would have thought about it in the terms that you did with the midground and the foreground, but yeah, it's just really well executed.
Well, unfortunately, it looks like the published image, they cropped it a lot closer. So
they did.
You lose that nice midground, but anyway.
Yeah, well, they went for the more dramatic pose, I guess. But still, that's yeah, the black and white art is beautiful. Well, okay, I got my like on that. And whose CAF gallery was this? AK. I don't know if I've been in their CAF gallery before. I don't recognize their avatar. If I don't recognize the name, I look to the avatar next, and nope, not sure of either one of those. So I'll have to check that out later. Let's see. So this is in Claus V's CAF gallery. Whoa, big scan on this one.
Yep, and good too, because look at this hatching.
Man, that's a lot of work in this piece.
Yeah. I have a piece from Alvaro Martinez Bueno in my gallery, and I saw I want to say a print he did of Batman probably 3 years ago, and I had never heard of him before. He had been working on Justice League Dark, I think, right before that, which wasn't a book I was reading, so wasn't familiar with him. But I was so taken with this Batman image that as soon as I saw it, I was like, I got to get something from this guy. So I, patiently waited for his commission list to open up. I pounced. I got a commission from him. It came out amazing. And every time I see something new come from him, he's also. Sorry to complete the thought. Anytime I see something new from him, I just I have to check it out. He's also regularly working traditionally as well as digital, which I feel like is not, obviously really common any longer. So he's working on The Nice House on the Lake for DC Black Label, which is kind of a sci-fi horror mix. And that's being done digitally. So he's selling monoprints of those, but then, clearly he's able to, grab a pen and ink and, still crank one out of the park with this Batman.
Yeah, no, this is it's pretty incredible, the amount of work that goes into that. And there's it looks like there's 40 or 50 pieces of their work on the site too. So that's nice to see.
Yeah, and it's you don't notice it at first, but it is, and the title is The Dark Knight. And when you were just, focused in on his face, when you look at the chin, you can see that it is like, old haggard Bruce versus not so old and haggard Bruce.
Right. Yeah.
So, well, yeah, it's got that Clint Eastwood vibe.
It's got a lot of stubble. No, very nice pick. Let's see. Ruben says, hard to tell. Can you see why there's a purplish area by his ear? Looks like something in the like some wash or something.
Maybe ballpoint.
Oh, that was my first thought, but it doesn't look like ballpoint, does it? I mean, maybe.
I think it could be.
Yeah. Well,
Ruben, if you and I ever meet up in person and I have my portfolio with me, you would not believe the range of tools and techniques that he puts into one of these things. It's insane.
Ruben's not going to Heroes, right, Ruben? Or are you? Are you
He said he might
considering?
be. I'm not bringing art with me though.
Yeah. Well, that's all right. I don't think I'm bringing any art with me to the show either. All right, so last piece here by Jim Murray, and who's CAF Gallery at? Frank Y. All right, Frank Y.
I picked this because so I saw it and I was like, oh, that's weird. It's so muddy and it's so, almost monotone. I mean, it's not monotone. There's definitely gradation happening and stuff, but I was like, why is this so muddy? And then, but I was still interested.
Mm-hmm.
And then I realized it's actually all an underpainting.
Okay.
So I think he owns the underpainting. And if you click into the additional images, you can see the final, which, I mean, the final is clearly, sort of like, there it is.
Oh, wow.
Like Bisley, Liam Sharp, kind of from the time. But that final painting is bonkers. That's just gorgeous. But I just thought from a process standpoint, I guess I picked this because I thought the process was so interesting, but from a process standpoint, seeing that underpainting was just really fascinating to me because it's hard to marry the two in your mind.
Yeah, no, I mean, I saw that too, and I'm like, why did Chris pick this piece? I didn't look at this image either, and that's just so funny because you look at it. I mean, there seems to almost to be very little correlation. Obviously the highlights that are in the colored piece, they're not even really there. It's more for the composition in this underpainting.
Yeah, it's kind of a detailed layout, but the tones they do basically match up. It's just that the color just takes it to a obviously totally different level. So I don't know. I guess maybe this is a art nerd pick, but I thought it was cool.
No, yeah, well, it is an art nerd pick, but I mean, it's great for process. Wow. Well, and seeing it's good that they actually included that extra, the color.
Yeah, without it, I would have been like, oh, okay, skip.
Well, what's the description too? See, it doesn't even mention it's like a prelim
in the caption of the color image. There's sort of a blurb.
Oh, I see. Well, it has a link to the oil painted cover on canvas sold on Han 2017.
Yeah,
and they link over to it. Well, very, very nice. At the end of the day, I mean, that's a very well thought out prelim for the final painting.
And the final painting is bonkers. I love it.
Yep. Well, good picks, Chris.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, this week had its challenges. That's for sure.
It did.
It was a slow, like you saw that. I mean, dealers didn't sell a lot. I think everybody was kind of taking a break this last week. Maybe with I don't know,
spring break, I guess. There's a lot of spring break.
That is possible. Yeah, you think about it. That's true because I think we had spring break the week before here in Chardon, but you're right. Maybe that might have something to do with it because the dealer sales were certainly really low. And there wasn't even a lot of art added to CAF from the dealers this last week. I think the week before, I don't even know if they made 1,000 pieces, and this week it was only around 1,200. And usually they're at like 2,000 steady. So yeah, it's probably vacations.
There was a couple of people, a couple of galleries that were just posting blocks, page after page of ugh, no, that's not for me.
Yeah, Mikhail says heritage probably had a little bit to do with that, and that is possible. That's definitely possible. Let's see here. Let me get. I'll get my picks here. I was actually opening windows while you were talking, so I at least got everything pulled together.
Thinking pre-production. during
Yeah. Well,
production.
usually I like to have all this stuff together before we even start. But let's see.
Are you one of those developers that tests your code in production, Bill?
Kind of.
I'm teasing.
No, I know. But yeah, I wish. Well, we don't really. I do have like a dev server that I can do work off of, but we typically will just when we're really testing anything that needs it, that we're not confident in, we're usually just make a copy of the page, rename it, and muck around in it until we get it right, and then remove the current one and put it in place. But on Wednesday, if anybody noticed what happened, it was the classifieds broke right before Dueling Dealers, because Maureen had seen we get emailed every time there's an error on the site, whether it's usually like an error, whether it's a SQL error or something along those lines, we get an email. And so she checked her folder where she gets the error emails, and there was this error happening on the classified search. She looked at it and she knew it was a bot that was somehow circumventing the form and firing off the form without any validation on its method. So she went in there and did something right before Dueling Dealers, and like 1 minute before the show starts, I get an email from somebody showing that the classifieds page is broken. And I'm like, okay, I'm not even going to tell Maureen until the show's over. But and then I got like 3 or 4 emails. Classified search is broken, Bill. But that just shows you, because we do work within the production box. And she was so confident whatever she did, she was like, because it was a rather simple thing that was tweaked, but it just shows you that sometimes even the simplest things can just have terrible ramifications, because it was kind of weird, because typically that would break a lot of other things. But if you went to the overall search and searched for Hulk, it would still tell you what the count was for the classifieds for that match. But if you clicked over to it, the whole search was just completely broken. So, but it was fixed within a minute and fixed right.
There you go.
So, but
No foul.
Exactly. But yes, that is a flaw of ours, everybody. I do wish I had a development server to work from. I'm sure if we ever take that next big step, we would definitely be working in more of an environment where we can really test things properly and before we roll them out. But yeah, when it's where we're at today, we're typically working in the live stuff. It gets scary sometimes, especially on Comic Art Live stuff, when the show's going on and we're trying to fix things or make things better while the show's live. But anyway, let's talk about my picks, because I picked this one early because I think I created my show thumbnail like almost like last Wednesday or maybe even Tuesday.
Yeah, it was really early. I noticed you had snared this one.
Yeah, well, I love Eric DLS's CAF gallery. And this was just he's a big fan of Art Adams, and
yeah,
I mean, and who isn't? I mean, look at all the cross hatching in this baby. I mean, he's just put so much time. I mean, that's why Art's work takes a long time to get done, because he puts so much effort into it. This thing's just absolutely beautiful, and it's a vintage piece. I guess 2005 is old, but man, because I know I've seen this piece before, but Eric, he seeks out anything by Art Adams. I mean, I remember when I picked up a piece of trading card art, he's like, "How did you see that before me?" So
sorry, dude.
Yeah, exactly. But Eric's an awesome guy. He is the nicest guy in the whole world. He's probably one of the first people that approached me at San Diego, probably in 03, 04, first time down there, just talking to me about CAF and just how excited he was to have a site like that, and then every year he'd stop by and always say hi. So he's just a great guy, and he has an amazing CAF collection. So, but yeah, I saw this piece and I'm like, I probably highlighted something from Eric before, but I don't think it's been a long while. And so
he's got more Art Adams than I have art. This is his I think he says his 98th Art Adams piece.
Is that in the description? I didn't even.
I think that's why it's numbered 98.
Oh.
He's like, what am I going to do for 100?
You're right. There you go. Heritage win number 2, Art Adams piece 98. See, I didn't even.
Wow.
2 more to go. Yeah, he's going to stop at 100. I don't think so.
Sure. Just pull the brakes on that one.
Right. But no, I mean, he's got an amazing collection, and he and I've had a lot of interesting conversations. He's just a really, I mean, to me, he's a collector's collector. He loves the medium. He loves the creators, and he really loves Art Adams. But I mean, that's
great taste.
I love that. I love. I mean, most of us are passionate, right? I mean, but he was like one of the first people that I met that I was like, gosh, this guy really loves collecting comic book art, and he'd been doing it for a long time. So. Yeah, kudos, Derek. I mean, if I've asked him to do an interview with me on the show, but I don't think he'll probably ever do one. But one day, maybe we can do something live with him sometime. But no, it's an awesome pickup addition to his CAF gallery. I can't imagine what number 99 and 100 will end up being.
I'm here for it.
And this one, Hergé from Jeff Singh, and I told everybody Jeff was here a couple weeks ago. So he told me he was after this piece. And for me, I don't know anything about Hergé, really. I mean, historically, I know the significance to the European collectors as a title. I'm sure Ruben could probably give us a 10-minute overview on his contributions to the medium. But just I picked this one. Not I can't say I love the artwork because it's not really for me. But I know it's very significant piece. You figure this piece survived through World War II, right? You figure this thing was in Europe. It was made in 1930, and by and large, I mean, a lot of the artwork that was created during that time, isn't even around today. Whether they tried to save it or not. So here's a piece that's made it through, a world war, and now it's in Jeff's collection. And Jeff has one of the coolest collections, most diverse collections on CAF, and
definitely.
And I could tell how proud he was to have this piece. And I think how other collectors really felt the same way, that this is just such an important piece. And for him to even, be sharing it on CAF. And he talked about a little bit about the journey for, having to sell artwork to be able to pick up this piece in the description. I mean, that's sometimes you have to give up a lot to get something that's really not only meaningful to you, but meaningful to all collectors. So, for me, I wish I would take the time to brush up on European creators and the significance, that they've contributed to literally to European society, right? I mean, it's so ingrained over there. For us, we're like these goofy fanboys over here in America, loving the artwork that we've got and the creators. But over there, it's
guys in tights.
Yeah, exactly. But again, so I'm just really proud that Jeff has added this to his collection, and I wanted to show it off tonight just because he deserves it. He really does. It's
tremendous. And, you can, everyone who illustrates comics, whether they realize it or not, has been influenced by Tintin and Hergé. And I think, to be honest, he created parts of this language. I mean, he's really responsible for, coming up with some of the way, the medium works. He was the first person to do things, and his importance really can't be overstated.
Can I blow up the bottom panels? Let's see. Yeah, it's a little bit bigger. Yeah, I don't think Jeff scans them. He's definitely not taking full advantage of the 2000 pixel tall that he could, but again, very happy that he's got it and that it's on CAF as well. I think he had gotten this from a European collector. Was read in the description. Oh, look, he's even got the published image. I didn't even see that.
I learned French in high school, and one of the ways that I did it was by reading Tintin comics. So.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I actually like these quite a bit.
Well, I only took Spanish, so.
Oh, you're much better off. Believe me.
Might be able to use it a little more often, but Larry says he needs a translator.
Hey, right. George is in the chat. George, you missed that I featured one of your pieces earlier.
Oh, yeah. And again, we've dropped your name 3 times tonight, George.
It's a big George Hodge night.
It is. Celebration. All right. Well, congratulations to Jeff on that one.
This is more. Oh man, I feel more American already.
I can read this one. So John Romita Sr. on this one, of course, and And I know Kane is greater than Ramita Senior. I know that that's what Ruben would say. I'm waiting for it in the chat already. But I really like this page. I mean, I really like the last panel. But just
Oh yeah, great
everything
guardrail. That's
about this,
awesome.
though, it it screams Ramita Senior. The face on Cap and that third panel, just really really lovely. And as most of Ramita Senior's work is, so yeah. I mean, I just. The last panel did it for me, but just overall, I really liked it. I like when I was looking at the entire page, just the composition of the blacks, the heavy black spots and the whites. I just thought it was a well composed layout on the page. I like how the panels are set up, evenly on the top, kind of knocked over a little bit on the middle one, and then it's full on the bottom. And it's an end page too. So it's kind of I usually like title pages, but as a cliffhanger moment, this one's got it all for a story and art.
Yeah, terrific storytelling, and like you said, he's showing what needs to be shown, and not what doesn't. And honestly, the bottom panel is great, but that top left panel is the one for me with the the guard looming. It's very cool.
Yeah, no, it was. I couldn't not feature this. I actually picked 11 artworks tonight, everybody, just so you know. So I broke the rules.
All right,
I had to do it. But
hey, you make the rules, you can break the rules.
That's right, exactly. And so this is in Tony S's collection, right? Yeah, very nice, from Spain. See, look at that. All right, and that's just so cool. Think about this. I mean, they're in Spain. They've got a great Cap Ramita Senior page. I just love the fact that art is it's worldwide, and I mean, it's just so amazing. This, at any rate, I love this page. We
were just talking about Hergé, right? I mean,
yeah, exactly. Now this one is this is a really nice piece, and of course there were two. This is in Aranga's collection, everybody. Aranga is an adjective now, I saw in the chat. Is that true? But all right, so this is by Colton Worley. I think Aranga posted this Spidey 2099 piece, and then another Spidey piece, regular. So I was like, I didn't know which one to pick because they were both equally beautiful. For different reasons. I really preferred this image over the other one at the end of the day. It's just an absolutely beautiful artwork. I mean, Aranga, you're on a tear picking up artwork,
sure.
picking up great pieces too. And I wasn't really familiar with Colton Worley, but I mean, there's a fair amount of their artwork on CAF. But again, compositionally, the lighting on this, just really, really, I loved it. And I think we need more painting on CAF, and so and colored pieces. So this is a really nice one.
I love the pose. I would have picked this one too, and I did look at both and thought, oh, I should pick one of these. I like the pose better on this one.
Yeah.
And, I think my favorite thing about it though, and I commented, but the diffuse sort of like light pollution lighting that he put like in the background is very realistic, but at the same time, the way he put the image together, it perfectly highlights the character.
Yeah, no. I mean, see, I didn't actually look at it in the detail image now. Now I like it even more now that I'm looking at it close up. And I'll show the other one too. I mean, the other one's beautiful as well, but yeah, and maybe some people won't agree with
terrific level of detail too.
Let's see here. Get this one up. There we go. That's really nice too. But yeah, there's something about the other image. It was, I don't know. It was different.
It's cool to me that he mixes the. I think this was the other thing I said in my comment on the 2099 piece, and this has the uplighting, which I think is cool and dramatic. But the 2099 piece, he's mixed the uplighting; it's still in there, right? And then you've got the additional sort of light source that's in the background, which I think makes that piece cooler.
Let's go back to that one. Oh yeah. I see what you mean. I couldn't put my finger on why I like this one better, but I think you're right. It really comes down to the lighting of the piece because both, both characters compositionally, the paintings are very similar, but no, this one, this one's really, really, really nice.
And for my money, good painting is about lighting.
Well, Aranga, just adding to his amazing collection. Why is that light not taken? gonna have to go back to this one. All right. Sean Gordon Murphy. I know that there were several pieces. I mean, I guess maybe at the Wicked Comic Con, people were picking up art there from him since he was selling. I know that the Batman Beyond the White Knight just came out at the end of last month, and I did check, and he still has pages for sale. So I kind of was like, well, I want to pick at least one page from it, and I know that there was, I think, 4 that were added to CAF during the week. So this is the one I picked. I just really, I like the bit of storytelling in there with Batman and Robin in the lower panel with, over the main figure of him. And, again, there's what's not to love about a Sean Gordon Murphy piece, but this one, I just thought the storytelling was really nice, and I like the imagery.
I really enjoyed when he was on the show. And what I took away from that is I've talked to him in passing a couple of times at shows, but about cars, because I love cars, and my dad was a mechanic. I grew up working on cars, and he loves cars. So, but what I took away from that interview that I thought was so cool, and I guess I didn't really realize before, is how careful he is and how methodical he is about what's being included in these images. So he's in almost like an Easter egg level way, how he's doing storytelling, just using the images and just using what's being included, what's being omitted, whatever. For someone whose style, I mean, looks quick and rough and, visceral and like all those things that we love about his style, I was just really taken aback by how on purpose everything is and how like intricately designed it all is. It's really incredible.
Yeah, I really enjoyed talking with him. They had a good time on the show too. We've already scheduled a date in September, believe it or not. He was like, I'd like to do it again, and he was looking at his schedule, and he's like, I think that I'll have a good break between shows and projects. And so yeah, he enjoyed the the interaction with everybody in the chat too, to the extent that he wants to be back on. So he'll be doing it again. But yeah, no, I love Sean's work, but I think that was neat. I could have just skipped these over because we featured stuff by him, but when you see that many pieces coming out from the same series, I just felt like this is a good time to post the work. And it made me go look at his site too. I'm like, I wonder how many he's put up there, because thinking about the pricing levels and things that he had talked about. Yep. And a piece I didn't think I would see was, remember there was that DPS. Yeah, with the character leaping forward. I was like, I figured that would be one that he'd hold, right? Because and I think it's priced at like 17,000 or some really high price. But I figured that would be one that you'd be keeping back for the retirement artwork,
Maybe he's flush there already,
Yeah, that's true. But because he did show that on our show, and then but I just didn't expect to see it on his site. So it's still available, but he had about 15 other pages on there right now too.
He's he's obviously a tremendous businessman in addition to being a terrific artist and a smart guy.
Yeah, who was I talking with the other day? Carl Moline that I'm going to have on the show tomorrow. We were, because I had to call him to do some prep for the sales show tomorrow, and I kind of talked about Murphy's approach to his retirement. And because Carl said that he's held on to a lot of his pieces more for sentimental, not thinking about them as retirement things, but pieces that meant a lot to him, that he just felt like they were important moments in his artistic career where he either made a great leap or something. And so he was holding on to him. And so I explained to him what Murphy's, philosophy is on holding back art. And I said, you probably should keep those pieces. Don't, keep them for the next 20, 30 years, because right. The way the market's going, and you might as well cherish them for a long time. And then if you ever need to cash them in one day, do it later. Don't do it now. Because we
know the alternative is that your Spider-Man image sells for $3.3 million, and you go, oh, that's cool.
Right. And I mean that was a revelation when he talked about that. I thought that was pretty cool. So I'm gonna always, not that I'm gonna try to convince artists not to sell their artwork, but I think it's wise to think about it, because a lot of people, they don't. I'm sure everybody thinks about their retirement, but not to that extent that I'd ever talked to an artist before. So at any rate. So there you go. Talk to that piece to death. But here, I'm still sticking on my going back to Marvel here with John Buscema Joe Sinnott, FF 135 page from 73. Got Dragon Man there. I mean, just cool. I mean, that top panel is so darn awesome. The perspective
Mhm.
on it. I mean, you can contrast this with the prior page where there's just lots of different tonal values that are different, throughout the whole piece. And then you come into this and everything's stark. It's all black and white, and there's no grays. But man, this thing is just so beautiful. And I mean, I love Buscema's machinery. Whether it's
Definitely.
behind that character who I don't know who he is, but we
Still
all know.
Kirby-ish.
Yeah, exactly. But really, and I think this was kind of, I think the character, it's like the cover image too. So that's, oh no, it's not on here. I actually Googled it because I was curious what the cover looked like. And it was pretty much this top image here.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought, man, and whose collection is this in? I see, I didn't even bother to check that. Frank Y again. Frank Y.
Oh,
All right.
Frank Y killing it this week.
Yeah, exactly. Well, so, I think that, I know that, I know Mike always talks about it, but I think when somebody gets the cover image on the interior page, that's always going to be kind of cool, because in many cases you're not going to be able to afford the cover to that book. But
it's such a common thing in this era to, to reproduce their, you wonder sometimes, like, did they do the interiors and then like, oh, this was a cool sequence, let's make this the cover, or was it the other way around?
Yes, exactly. The cover actually had Dragon Man on it too, but that'd be the only difference. So, but still, totally cool. And I'm sure that Frank Y is thrilled to have this in their collection. Is Frank Y new? Do they probably change their name? All right, they're in France again. And, I mean,
yes, they don't do spring break in Europe.
No, not at all. So Frank Y has been a member for 4 years. Okay, cool. They must have changed their name, because I think that's I've not seen it before. But
there's not enough thing on this, Bill. That's my
yeah, it is kind of lacking in Ben Grimm.
It's the only reason people read Fantastic Four, and we all know it.
Yep. All right, moving right along, everybody. So we can get to my final 5 picks here. McSpidey fan, I'm showing some love here. I mean, I don't always pick McFarlane, but I just really liked McFarlane's done a lot of these like weird vertical panels and things before. I thought this one was just really, really well done. I like the way they kind of, at least in that 3rd and 4th panel, kind of feel like they're kind of together in a weird way, but separated by the split, the gap between the panels. Yeah, I just, from a visual standpoint, I tried to read it and I was like, I never read Spidey at this time, so I don't know anything about the story. So it didn't make a whole lot of sense to me. I don't know who the character is. I know Scott described them as a female Craven-like character.
Calypso, I think her name is.
Okay. But yeah, I mean, I just love the way it's laid out. It's just so cool.
The only thing I took away from this, I remember reading this back in the day and really loving the doom, 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 like the drum beat. It's supposed to be a drum beat that resonates throughout the book. And it was the first time that I ever really remember a sound effect kind of like creating a soundtrack in my mind as I was reading a book. So I thought that was really effective. And, say what you will about the other, visual techniques that he was kind of trying out, or, whatever. Loads of respect for McFarlane, but I've never been what I would call a Spider-Man fan. So, yeah, but I do remember that doom, doom, doom bit was really cool.
Well, Scott will have a talking with you when you get to Heroes.
He will, I know.
But yeah, it's it really is crazy. If you look at that second panel in the angle on Spidey's head there, he is cramming in that head into this space that just shouldn't. It's just not right. It really.
Well, and also Lizard's mouth is in there, right? That's
right. It just shouldn't work. But as an overall image, man, it's really, really cool. But so he's taking chances here doing that, because somebody could look at it and say, your anatomy is so off here, man. But he's making it work in these really thin panels. So I just had to pick this one because I thought it was a really interesting approach to doing something that, an interesting eye on panel layout for this one.
For sure. And a great pickup. I mean, geez, the guy, he's dominating the game. He's like the Romita man of,
Right. Where's his number? Is it? Where's it? It's going to say like.
You should do that.
Number 200 in the McSpidey fan collection. So yeah.
So now I have to arm wrestle James and I have to fight ML. Wow.
Oh man, Jeff Moy owes me a Coke, says Robert Berman. Oh, all right. All right. So let's see. Next up, 4 more to go here. J. Scott Campbell. I'm not really a big J. Scott Campbell fan, to be honest with you, but I know that Dave Kopecki is, and he's a big Danger Girl collector. And I did not even, did he write a description on this one? Yeah, he did. But so I feel sometimes when I know somebody picks up something that's got to bring him a lot of joy, I looked at this and I thought, I bet you Dave's thrilled to have this piece in his collection.
That's a great reason to pick something, Bill. I've never even considered that.
I
don't think about other people's feelings much.
I was in a reflective mood this week. It really was. And then, I mean, so you can kind of see why it's been like this weird, tumultuous week for me. But yeah, I saw this and I thought, God, Dave's probably really excited about this one. And because I've interviewed Dave on the show, and he's got a really cool collection, and a lot of pieces, other J. Scott Campbell pieces in his collection. But so you think about it, when a guy already has like pieces that are where most of us would say I'd stop, right? I mean, I've got enough. I don't need to get any more. And then he picks up another one. That one, it had to be really important, and again, I didn't read his description, but for somebody who's already got like some of the best images out there by Campbell, I just think, yeah, there's got to be something special about this piece for him. And I thought it was kind of cool. I mean, looking at the way she's holding the gun, there's a lot of nervous energy going on here. I like the eyes. I just thought the storytelling in this one was kind of cool.
I'm surprised you didn't like this book. It had like a Bruce Campbell proxy in it.
Oh, what? Really?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure the dude in the mask, the snake eyes looking dude, I'm pretty sure he's Bruce Campbell underneath there. My Danger Girl is that was from back in the day, so I don't remember for sure. It's all I can do not to cut like a Ric Flair style promo on ML right now.
I am not looking at the chat. I've got this window over the chat, so I'm not seeing anything. What is Mikhail doing? He says he's going to
give me a thrashing, but
are you sweating yet, Snort?
I've seen you, ML. You're delusional.
Oh man. Oh, so let's see. We got 3 more to go here. This one, yeah, I love Mike McCone's color work. I thought this one was really cool. I mean, I know I picked a Spidey image earlier, and I kind of waffle. I was like, maybe I should only pick one color Spidey image, because I'm not a Spidey collector by any means. And gosh, it's really the third piece, right? Because of the McFarlane. But I just thought the Spidey symbol underneath him is like it's a shadow. It was kind of a neat approach. I love he's kind of got this flip thing going on that Berkey's got, but compositionally, I like the angle on him to show that to make it so that you can show that the Spidey symbol on the ground underneath him. I just thought it was just a really nice layout. I mean, for a commission piece, I'm assuming it's just a commission piece, right? Yep. I loved it. I was like, it's not your atypical straight on commission or whatnot. It's just really unique.
It really pops. Like it jumps out at you. I'm glad
you featured black, this, by the way.
I'm glad you featured this, because when Eric Winger goes back to watch this, he's going to be incensed that this made the list, because he tried to get this.
Well, you can't win them all. See, now that would be another reason why to have it. Just, sometimes you got to show the ones that disappoint the other collectors. But yeah, who picked this up? AK Comic Art Gallery. AK again. All right. Well, all right. So we've got a couple people making it more than once into the list.
Hey,
tonight.
When you're hot, you're hot.
Yep, exactly. All right, I'll put my like on that one later. So I got 2 more here. So I had to go do something a little different DC wise. So Sikorsky and Murphy Anderson. I just loved it. I just thought this thing was beautiful. It's all underwater. So cool. I wish this was, I wish it was a bigger image, but I couldn't not pick it, because the first panel is amazing, but every panel is amazing. I mean, I'm looking at it now, I like it even more. I mean, I want to own this thing, and I don't even know anything about the Phantom Stranger, but this piece of art is so amazing.
I picked this, and I can't remember for the life of me why I didn't talk about it.
I don't either, Chris. How could you do that?
It's incredible. I love Sikorsky and Anderson. Oh man, I'm a huge Silver Age DC for me for the longest time. That was it. That was all I cared about. And this speaks to that in a big way. It's gorgeous.
Yeah, no, it really is. I mean, and the more I'm looking at it, just the creating it clearly, there's the water is tumultuous, and they're showing it through the inking there. I mean, this is just fantastic.
Yeah, it's really swirly and dynamic. It's so cool.
Yeah, I wish this was a bigger scan too, because I'm looking at it. It looks like there might be maybe there's a little whiteout, or they're just being like really creative. Like in that second panel with that thing right across his face, looks like it could have been
that
done.
wisp of
Yeah. So no, this is an amazing artwork. Yep. Nope. And it wouldn't make me a DC guy, but I would love to own this one. And Steve Criozier, I know I've seen his name a million times, but I've never tried to pronounce it before. Criozier, yeah. I don't know.
Maybe that's why I didn't pick this piece. I was like, I can't pronounce this dude's name.
Why did he include the published cover? What was that? It's like Adams, but great inks by Murphy Anderson. That's all he says. All right. So one final piece, and this is Mikhail's piece, and I picked it because if I hate to say it, I've only partially read Sandman, so I have to correct that and get it all the way to the end. But
that's why he wants to fight me. It just dawned on me because I bag on Sandman all the time. Okay, ML, I get it now. It's on.
Well, so I just really, there's not a lot of art, but I just love the way this page was constructed with the 3 panels. Of course, this is Vess, and I've read through this very nice write-up that Mikhail put in here, but yeah, I love the story. I know Mikhail was, he feels pretty fortunate to have this piece of art in this collection, and
yes.
Again, I guess that's kind of my theme on some of these pieces that I picked was just, I like the story. I like when people are really happy when they get to add something special to their CAF gallery. And this is, I always love Vess, and I just enjoyed this page. I don't know, I assume that there probably was nothing in that space where the word balloons are, but where I just thought it was really well constructed, well thought out, and I love Mikhail's story on it. So I had it. That's why I added it as my 11th pick of this set.
It's worth making a number 11. Yep. Good for you, Amal. This is a man, really, an important addition to his collection for sure.
Yep. I love the lettering in this, and ML mentioned the kind of woodcut feel to the drawings. It's
really delicate.
Really, this is really, really nice. I love it. Well, congratulations, Mikhail. And Mikhail put a picture of himself and his baby girl in it too. Let's see. Just where is that? Is that like it looks like a Star Wars exhibit or something? But very cool.
All I can focus is how willowy he is.
Yeah,
that's all I can think about. Mikhail.
He's fast. You just got to remember that. He might get a couple jabs in. Oh man. Well, congratulations, Mikhail. That's an awesome piece added to your already incredible collection.
Oh, you were right, Bill. Galaxy's Edge.
Oh, sweet. Wiry. He says.
Willowy.
Oh boy. It's on now. So Todd Klein and Smellier. Okay. But wiry, says Caesar. So Chris, I'm good to have you back. I have to look at the schedule because I can't remember. I know I think I've got Larry again sometime in the near future.
I'll look too. You emailed me.
Yeah, I did. I know I gave you lose my voice now. Gotta get a drink of water here. But yeah, so I'm sure you're on next week, which will be a Thursday. Yep. So
I'm off for my birthday because that's the first Thursday of next month.
Oh, you planned it that way.
Right. Well, I didn't, but here we are.
Mm-hmm. Okay. But yeah, well, there you go. Michael Callahan says great top 11 and 10 picks. Thank you, Michael. But yeah, so well, hopefully we have hopefully you have a better. Well, have you been looking at the artworks from this week? I guess I know that you pay close attention. So.
I have. There's some doozies. There really are. It'll be much easier by comparison, I think.
Cool.
Somebody already prognosticated one of the ones that I'm planning on picking in the chat. So
They're trying to influence you in some way, or they just
I don't
know?
know.
They
Yeah, I
know
think they know. Yeah. ML, yeah, not to belabor this, but ML, I think, has said before that he knows why I pick things. So
he's the Scott Wingo of art selection, I guess, right? Scott can look at a person's gallery and dissect their collecting habits.
yeah,
And
yeah.
Mikhail's getting good at that as yeah, well, all right. That's cool. But all right, Chris. Well, so thank you for being patient in the green room earlier. That
You had some things you had to work through, Bill. It was okay.
I did. I really did. And yeah, so and I should apologize to everybody, because the funny thing was I was really thinking about talking about that experience that I went through earlier this week, and just kind of gauging, what people, whether or not I was going to do the right thing, or had I done the right thing, and because this is how I was thinking. So it was actually kind of good to have it work its way out like that. 'Cause I'm still going to email the guy and just be like, if you leave me alone, you can have it. He's probably already emailed me, because he emails me all quite regularly. But yeah, so I was thinking to do it, and then I wasn't going to. I chickened out before the show. I was like, you know what? I'm just
Well, we
gonna
wound
keep
up talking about it anyway.
I know, because I was gonna avoid that, but no, I think at the end of the day, it worked out well. But yeah, those are things that happen on CAF that they're very infrequent, but whatever. I don't want to talk about it again. But Chris, thank you so much for doing your 10 picks for me this
Always
week.
happy to do it, Bill. I love it.
And I think you sent me an email when we were earlier, right? I'll have to.
I did. I actually have curated some beers for you that I'd like to send you for your birthday. So
Oh, okay, cool. Well, I'm gonna have a beer after the show. That's my thing. A porter. I literally went out because things were just so crazy leading up to the show. It's like it was 8 p.m. here, and I told Maureen, it's like I have to. All I had was like Coors Light in the fridge. I was like, I got to go get some porters.
that's not even beer.
Yeah, no, it's not. Well, I slum it sometimes, but I was like, I have to have a good beer to end my show tonight. So that's what I did. But again, thank you so much, Chris, as always. And
Yeah, man, it's always fun. Thank you.
I look forward to doing it again next week. Good evening. All right. No, I know, Larry. I know. But the thing is, that stuff's always important to me. At the end of the day, I really, I always just want to keep everybody happy, no matter what. I mean, I've never had I've just never really run into any situations where I get like that, and that's why I felt like I was overreacting, at the time. So and I just want everybody to get along. But at any rate, let's see, what did you? Anyway, hug your lawyer costs more. That's what Marcus says. So good old Marcus. All right, everybody, listen, I think I've pretty much covered every single thing that I wanted to talk about tonight. I've looked through here. Nick, I'm glad you're back. I guess you didn't have a show tonight. Was that the case? Because I actually went to tune into it at 7:00, and I didn't see you. So I assume you must be everybody's taking the holiday off, and you're not coming back till Monday. Is that the case? You'll be back on a regularly scheduled Friday 7 p.m. show with the EXP. Yep, tonight was off. All right, well, that's what I thought. Thank you, Mikhail. I will have a great weekend. I mean, I hope everybody has the opportunity. I know it's a holiday weekend, but I've got Carl Moline on the show tomorrow at 2, so I'm looking forward to chatting with him and talking about his career in comics and some of his other experiences as well, what he's currently working on, and then showing off some of his artwork. I will get an email out probably around 10 a.m. tomorrow, just as a reminder for everybody. And I'll try to put like 4 or 5 of the artworks that are in there just to give you a taste for it. But like I said, there's 3 covers in it, and it's all very Carl's got a really unique style, inking style, and so it shows in all these pieces. So they're all pretty nice. So please tune in if you can, and if you're doing things with family on Saturday afternoon, I totally get it. I'm going to be busy on Sunday, going spending the day with my mom mowing. I'm never going to live that down, am I, Marcus? You're never going to let me forget about that. But again, thank you to everybody, to Jeff Wedding, and thank you for these. I will definitely. I know I wanted to try to call you today. I just ran out of time. If he's still here, I will definitely try to call you this weekend. Marcus, thank you, again for the Art Adams book and for the Brandon Peterson sketch cover. DC sucks. I love it. very, very appropriate for me. And to, of course, to Rick Welch for picking this Butch Geist artwork up for me from Heavy Metal. This is awesome, and I can't thank you enough. And where was the other? Got too many things laying around here now. One other piece. Oh man, the Pacheco piece. Just love it, you guys. I can't thank you enough. I really appreciate all the support you've given me the last couple of years, and it just makes me want to work harder for each and every one of you. So thank you again. Have a great weekend, and I hope to see some of you tomorrow at 2 p.m. for the show with Carl, and then we'll be back at it next week, Monday with Jordan and Nick Barucci for a $500 and under show. It's gonna be a lot of fun. You're going to enjoy Nick's memes. They are very, very, very fun. And I'm going to go enjoy that beer right now, James. So thank you, everybody. And I'll talk to you again soon. Have a wonderful night.